Got to make sure Ryan's all
Yes.
ready. All right, brand new setup. We're actually on a different computer this week. New camera, new capture card.
Let's hope nothing breaks.
Yay. Hey, the bot works. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at that. Nice. So something's happening.
RTX off already, Gene.
Yeah. And of course, I forgot to turn off the audio on the YouTube side. There we go. Hey, look.
Hey.
YouTube's up and Twitch is up. Hey, look at that. First time. Boom. Welcome to Talking Heads, episode 72. Our once weekly live show for the latest in tech and beer news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
How's it going, everyone?
Woo!
Oh, it has been a cold couple of days here.
Right?
It's March and it's still snowing here.
They were reported last week it's going to be another snowmageddon. There was a little bit of snow, and then there was no report of snow, and all of a sudden
It's snowing all day today.
Snowing all day today.
Yeah. It snowed for 7 or 8 hours today.
Yeah.
Nothing stuck, but I mean there was a little bit on the ground, but you can't call it snow.
No, but it was pretty, but it was cold. That was the thing. If you were outside, it was cold.
Oh yeah, the wind chill was in the low 20s for most of the day. And in fact, when I got out to my car, was it yesterday? Yesterday it was or last 2 days it was 24 degrees outside when I left for work, and the wind chill was just biting cold.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
So I can handle the cold, no problem. I go up to the mountains a couple times a year and whatnot. Not a big deal at all, but that wind when you're dressed for work in just like a polo and a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And
you're like, oh, this will be fine for inside, and then it goes, the wind just bursts right through. Like, oh.
Hello from Florida. What cold? Anything below 65. Welcome to the show, everyone. You might have noticed we have a special guest star. Ryan Reynolds is on the show today. And while he's not here physically, I'm sure he is watching, and I have no reason to believe he's not.
Yeah.
John, you brought something new for us to try.
I did. I brought
Aviation Gin.
Aviation Gin.
Ryan Reynolds' own company here in Portland, Oregon. Distilled here right around the corner from us.
Yeah.
So I've been actually waiting quite a long time to try this. I saw it hit store shelves a while ago, and it's like, oh, new gin, distilled here in Portland. And then Ryan Reynolds bought the company, so it's just kind of fun. We're gonna make today one of my favorite cocktails. I know we do cocktails very rarely around here, but as I've explained before, John's the beer guy. I'm the cocktail guy. Yep. Cocktails are my wheelhouse. We're going to make a Gordon's Cup, which is one of my favorite cocktails. And in fact, I first learned the recipe from Greg over at How to Drink. And I think I actually featured this cocktail on one of my episodes.
A while.
Almost a year and a half ago, probably. Very simple cocktail. It's gin, simple syrup, limes, cucumber, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And I know that sounds weird.
Not really, actually.
Yeah.
I can see the lime. It's a nice tropical note. The cucumber will add a freshness.
It's crisp. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
It's just downright delicious.
And the salt and pepper, I can see, will just add the texture. I think the salt will just make it that extra cold. And,
right.
The pepper will just add a weird, interesting kick, I'm assuming. Right.
Yeah, the salt and the pepper add some really nice just nose and mouth elements to it. So we're going to drop in we're going to do a double order, so 4 and 8. There we go. Right into the mixer. We are going to cube up a lime.
I need like an overhead.
I know, I should have done an overhead. I prepare my set a little bit better, so you can actually see what the heck I'm doing here. We're just going to cube up a lime here, so cut it into 8ths essentially. And we're going to drop that right into the mixer. We're not squeezing it, we're not doing anything else, we're just dropping it straight in.
The mixer's getting full.
Mixer's getting full, but that's okay. We're going to drop in some of our Aviation Gin. We're going to do 4 ounces of Aviation.
It's a sweeter gin, too.
Yeah. Usually this is good with a dry gin, but I'm hoping this will
It's a pretty sweet gin, and it's a bit of a higher proof gin than it's a 42%.
42, yeah.
So just a hair higher than what normally.
Just a hair over. There we go.
The cap's a little not super secure.
A little interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get that Great Gatsby kind of bottle look.
Yep. And then we're doing 1.5 ounces of simple. So you normally do 3/4 simple for a single serving. There we go. And we are just going to shake the heck out of this. Now, because we didn't squeeze anything, you really do want to give it a really good shake and break everything up. Yeah, I know. My house is really crappily built, and so the whole floor shakes when I do that. There we go. And we are going to...
More lime.
This goes in the glass.
Ah. That's a lot of lime.
A lot of lime.
That's a whole lime per drink.
There's a whole lime per drink. Yeah. Yeah, usually it's one lime, you shake 4 wedges, and you drop the other 4 into the glass. So there's that, and we're also going to drop some cucumber in there. Just for a couple of...
Basically a salad.
Basically, yeah.
So we're healthy here on Craft Computing.
That's right. There we go. If I could wedge this properly, geez. There we go.
Maybe needed a bigger glass, too.
Yeah. Well, I've done it in these glasses before.
It's probably just a little bit too much ice.
Yeah. Usually you serve it with a rock.
Ah.
And so, yeah, this is just taking up a little bit more room. There we go. That looks good. Perfect.
There we go.
And then...
Little pepper.
Just a little dash of pepper, dash of salt. There you go. That is a Gordon's cup.
All right.
Pretty simple cocktail. It looks very, very fancy. And it's absolutely delicious.
Cheers.
So tell me what you think of that.
That is actually really good.
It's oops, as I dump ice all over my desk. It's crisp, it's refreshing, it's sweet without being overly sweet.
It is. I can see it being better with a drier gin, though.
Yes.
This being a sweeter gin almost gives it kind of a candy cucumber flavor.
Yes, definitely.
Now you taste a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper just in the background and in your nose.
Yep, and that cucumber just finishes everything off on the back end. But usually with a drier gin, it's a lot more crisp.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is a fantastic, very, very simple cocktail. Like I said, 2 ounces of gin, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, cube up a lime, toss a couple cucumber slices in, shake the hell out of it, pour it over ice, little salt and pepper dash.
I like it.
Very, very good. All right. So if you're new to the show, the way the format works is we try to keep as family friendly as possible. We try to keep the language and gratuity to a minimum, although sometimes the stories that we're talking about do demand it. We do try to keep that in check, though. We usually start with about 20 minutes of beer news, and then we move on to about 40 minutes to an hour and 20 of tech news, just depending on how the week goes. And then the end is kind of the club hour. It's kind of whatever we decide to do.
We just roll the dice.
Yep.
It's nerd talk, tech talk,
Star Trek.
Yeah. It's question Q&A. It's everything.
Yep.
So
that's the show. Anyway, let's go and start out with some beer news. And we talked about this one last week. Steve and I did.
Yes.
And this is a follow-up.
This is a follow. I found this last week. Steve and Jeff were talking about a Saturday morning. I believe it was Saturday morning Marshmallow Lucky Charms IPA. Yep. It was a special release, and Jeff was hoping to even get his hands on it.
I was hoping to.
You could have if you went on eBay and paid $450.
Yes. Yeah, you too could own a Saturday morning. What was it? Magically Ridiculous.
Yes, magic. That's the word.
Yeah. Yeah. You two could have a Saturday morning IPA for just $450 for a 4-pack.
Yes.
So 4 of these guys.
4 of those guys for $450.
Yep.
Selling on eBay or sold on eBay. You can get an empty can for $5. They will sell you an empty can just for the artwork for $5.
The artwork was pretty sweet.
The artwork was pretty sweet. But I can get a can of beer for $5.
Yeah, and unlike you, I don't have the empty beer cans lining the top of the garage.
Which I do need to get rid of. I need to put new ones out there.
So yeah, what's the most you've ever spent for a beer, John?
I will admit, I have spent $100 on a beer.
Have you spent $100 on a beer?
I have spent $99.99.
I've done 35. I think that's my most expensive bottle that I've bought. And it was a bomber. It wasn't just a.
Mine was like the big tall one. So it wasn't.
Wasn't a pint.
Wasn't a pint.
Yeah, mine was 35 for just a hair over a pint.
Yeah.
So and I know you've been in that same.
Yeah, I've been. We've done that stuff. But yeah, as far as single bottle, which was a large imported Belgian bottle that was aged 10 years.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't even that good. That's the bad part.
Oh no. I do have a 11.6 ounce bottle down in the garage right now that I did spend $13 on. Yeah. So for a 12 ounce.
I mean, I will probably come tomorrow. There are 2 bottles I'm probably going to buy. Mm-hmm. They're about $20 a piece.
Yeah. 20 is usually my top. Yeah. And even 15 I start to hesitate.
They are the rare barrel aged. Mm-hmm. This comes out once a year and you cellar it for 5 years type of a thing.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a wine or whiskey or scotch. You want to age it just a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Skull noticed the King Sue. Yes, sir. Dragon's Milk tonight, Scott. Dragon's Milk. I just bought a bottle of that today.
That's such a good beer.
Such a good beer.
It's funny. They actually came out with a white stout Dragon's Milk in can format. So I've been looking for that. So if anyone finds that, let one of us know. Call us. I would love.
My P.O. box is down below.
Love.
We will give you some love on the show in the form of a shout out. Let's see. Hey guys, how's it going? Hola. Not weird at all. It's a great drink. Yeah. Like I said, one of my favorite cocktails.
No,
if you tell someone who's not accustomed to cocktails what's in it, they're like cucumber, lime, salt, and pepper. Are you kidding me? Why would I drink that with like a dry like pine needle taste in the back? This completely transforms the gin into something so much more.
Yeah, this is a great. I am outdoors, the sun shining.
Sitting out on your back patio.
On the back patio.
Yeah,
you're just relaxing and you're watching nature just move. Mm-hmm. That's what this drink is. Mm-hmm. With some flip flops.
That's exactly it. 1440 60p stream looking fantastic today. Awesome. Please don't jinx it.
And we're down.
Evening, gentlemen. Sipping 2015 barrel-aged darkness and studying cybersecurity.
Ooh, very nice.
Let's see. $100 for a beer. Yeah, $100 for a beer.
Yep.
I've spent $100 on a couple of different bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
So
I can see whiskey though.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. What else we got for beer news?
We have. We've gone through.
Oh no, this one.
Interesting beer stuff. So we've done rocks, we've done shipwrecks, we've done. I think there's been a couple of other really weird ones.
There's been the
bones.
There's been bones. There's been womanly yeast.
Yes, womanly yeast.
And breast milk beer.
Yes.
Breast milk IPA.
Yes. Well, this beer has got. I mean, Red Bull's got nothing on this beer.
Yeah, Red Bull gives you wings. This
has got some.
This has
cojones.
This has
literally. This beer is brewed with some bull cojones.
Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout. Now I've had an oyster stout. I've had a couple of them.
Yes, but it's the Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
I've not had the Rocky Mountain variety.
Yes, is referred to as the bull's best friend. Type of a thing. These are eggs.
Yeah. Not only does it have Rocky Mountain oysters in them, which are bull testicles, there's 11 pounds per batch.
Yes. That's the really bad
part. Well, it says 11 kilos in the title and then 11 pounds later on. So I'm not sure which is actually accurate.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 11 kilos total and then it's 11 pounds per roasted, what is it, every batch. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, who knows. But I guess that this brewery, Wincoop Brewery, this was a one-off beer, and they've released it once a year, every now and then, a couple varieties, and now they are going to release it annually. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of a interesting Big Oyster Stout. It's just roasted barley, 7 specialty grains, sterling golden hops, and the magic roast ingredient. That's it.
That's right.
I'd probably drink it.
I say so. The magic question, John. Would you drink this? Honestly, I'd consider it. I would have to smell it first.
So they said it has a dark roasted chocolate flavor with a little bit of nut.
Right.
Which I think was kind of,
A little bit of nut. Sounds like a lot of bit of nut.
Yeah. So what I actually find very funny though.
I love that picture.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great picture. And it just turns you on so much to it. What I actually found funny was right above that says a very strong beer, and this has nothing to do with the beer, but it says 7.5%.
Right.
That's not a
strong beer. That's a strong beer for a domestic.
Yeah. In Oregon, that's a standard beer.
This is the lightest one that I have, and it's a 5.9.
Yeah.
I think I went to the store today. I picked up King Sue's like a 9.5, isn't it?
Something like I think it's 8, high 8.
High 8, yeah. I went to the store today, and I picked up 3 moderate pints that I got. I got an 11%, a 10.9, and I think a 9.9.
Yeah.
And it's just this is what we drink around here.
I will say most of my
if
beers,
I'm feeling light, it's a double IPA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't even hit the classification of imperial. So I found that kind of funny that they were bragging it was strong beer.
Norwegian strong.
Yeah.
Strong like bull.
Oh god.
Sorry.
It's just
I apologize.
Beer. It's a weird beer.
That beer is ballin'.
Yeah.
Sipping these nuts. Thank you, comment section. I will say strong like bull was mine, though. I'm taking credit for that one.
That's a good one.
Oh. How do you move on from that?
I don't know. Speaking of cold.
Speaking of Rocky Mountains.
Speaking of Rocky
Mountain High.
Yeah. You said you like one of the mountains.
I do.
Do you go skiing, tubing? What do you?
I'm actually not much of a skier. I do some motorsports in the winter. I do snowmobiling, ATV, dirt bike, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm more of a trail rider than anything else.
Okay. Now I know a lot of snowboarders and skiers, and you guys might be some of them. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't want a beer when you're at the top?
Oh, heck yeah.
Of the mountain.
There is nothing better than, taking the ski lift up to the top of the mountain and cracking a beer.
Yeah.
Or riding your ATV for 12 miles to the top of a 6,500 foot peak and cracking a beer. It is one of the best beers you'll ever have in your life.
And now I'm not talking about having a beer in your backpack. I'm talking a freshly tapped craft beer out of the keg.
Yeah.
Well, 10 Barrel is going to take care of that for you.
That's right.
This month in March.
On draft.
They have invented a beer cat.
So you know the Bearcats?
Yeah.
The big tread vehicles. Yeah. They have one outfitted with 8 taps.
The video I saw was only 2.
Only 2. Okay.
Only 2, but they could have. That was when they were building it and just promoted it. So they could have adjusted it by now. But so 10 Barrel is doing a Colorado and Northwest tour all throughout March. They're actually stopping here in Oregon for 2 days. What it is they're going to drive up really high. I don't think they're going to the Black
they're not going to the summit.
Yeah, they're not going to the summit. But they're going to drive up to some of the lifts, and they're going to this box cage here lifts down, becomes a platform, and inside is a bar so people can line up and basically have some craft beer on draft.
Nice. That is an awesome idea, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. Now, it's only for the month of March, but it's going to be pretty cool. I thought it was kind of an interesting thing, and I know 10 Barrel technically, not craft, but whatever. Yeah. But still cool.
Yep. Yeah, because we go up to the mountains all the time, and we'll take the snowmobiles out or whatever else, and you get to the top of the mountain and you crack a 12 ounce of beer.
Yeah. It's
never a lot because you should never drink and drive.
No.
But you get to the top of the mountain and you go, oh, that's crisp.
That's cool. Refreshing.
Yeah.
As cool as the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong temperature.
Yeah. Did the mountains turn blue?
That would be funny as if the side of the cat turned blue.
Say no, but the balls did.
Oh. I should have got that one.
I'm on top of it.
You are on top of it. Now, I do have one other thing here, and it wasn't beer news.
Right.
But I just found it so interesting. I don't know if we've ever had this particular drink on the show.
We have not. I am not a fan of this one.
I know.
I don't like
I
this
think
one.
most people that like craft cocktails are not.
Right.
But if you are a tailgater...
It's red hots and vodka, for crying out loud.
So, if anybody likes...
You already know what I'm talking about.
If anybody likes a good cinnamon whiskey in their life, guess what? It just got a lot easier for you to have.
Take away good and put it in a box.
That's right. So now you can have Fireball in a box.
In a box. Not just in a box. Not just like a box-friendly shot pour. This is 2 1.75 liter bags.
Yes.
This is 5/5 worth of Fireball.
Yes, it's a lot of Fireball.
Did you see how much they're selling this for?
No, actually, I didn't.
$50.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah. So
But
I am not a fan, but that is a cool deal.
Yeah, that's a cool deal. And but would you want to be caught dead being the guy? Oh, I'm gonna go get some Fireball out of the box.
Right.
But yeah, this is gonna be at every college football game.
Oh yeah.
Every tailgating party. All the college girls are be drinking this.
Yep. $5. Heavy Palms. Missed last week live. Cheers ×2. Cracking an Old Forester rye bottle now. Nice. Like Old Forester rye. I actually just bought a couple new bottles of rye. So we'll have to check those out after the show.
Yep.
Sorry, y'all.
There should be an after dark Talking Heads.
Yep.
Where you see Jeff and all of us drink.
That's right.
And the stupid...
That'll be the Twitch stream, because I'm not worried about being demonetized on that
the
one.
stupid arguments that we have.
We'll keep it going live on Twitch.
Oh, that would be such a great show.
That would be. Ooh.
Pepper
Right up. It went the wrong way. Ooh.
Oh, that cucumber's good. I like that.
Really good. All right. Hey, look at that. 8:21. On time.
Right on time.
Like I said, 20 minutes of beer news. Flippin' nailed it. All right. So, we reported on this actually a little bit ago, but the story has kind of resurfaced in the last couple of days. And that is AMD Zen 2 price and spec leaks. Now, this is slightly different than the one we reported on before. And we are getting obviously closer to the closer to the date because they said late Q2. And we're in the beginning of Q2 right around the corner. Yeah. Right. So we're getting closer, but I guarantee that the frequencies are not going to be final yet. And I guarantee the prices aren't going to be final yet. Those usually aren't completely finalized until just a couple of weeks before launch when they're starting to print the boxes and get retail samples ready. So that's why oftentimes when review samples go out, Intel writes Intel Confidential on the top of them and doesn't write a frequency on them because they don't know yet. They just say, hey, this is going to be the 9900K. Yeah. And we're shipping it with a base frequency that may change within a couple of weeks. We'll let you know what it is. Usually later once the reviewers actually have the samples, they're already final on the number, and that's usually the number that it ships with. But it has changed before. But that being said, I think we're still too early in the process for these numbers to really be concrete and valid and exactly what AMD is going to ship.
I was really hoping they were because I love these numbers.
I love the numbers, and I don't think they're going to be that far off. What I think this is going to be, and what you often see, leaks don't come out of nowhere.
No.
There's rarely a leak that's genuinely a leak. I think what this is AMD feeling out the market. Is AMD saying we have a whole product stack that is ready to launch. We know they're in production. We know that EPYC 7 nanometer has been in production for a while. We know they're cranking out the chiplets left and right. And we know that same chiplet is going on the consumer die. What we don't know is how many of them and what's the pricing going to be and what the exact specs are going to be. So I think they're feeling out the market here. I think they're going to say, we have a 3300G and we've got a 3400 and we've got a 3500 and a 3700 and a 3700X and down the line you go. And here's the frequencies and here's the core charts for them. So we've got a 4-core, or I think they're starting at 6-core now. So 6-core, 8-core, 12-core, and 16-core. and we think we're going to launch the 16 core for $599, and then they'll gauge reaction. They go, okay. They seemed way over the moon about that. We'll do it at $650.
Yeah.
Or they'll say we're going to release the 3850X, which is the over the moon 16 core 4.9 gigahertz with a 5.1 XFR, which is the rumored spec of the 3850X, by the way. We're going to release that one for $760. And then everyone goes, wow, that is way too much for a consumer level 16 core chip. I'd rather have a 2950X. Yeah. Or not an Intel chip, because those are double the money.
But the Ryzen, the one below. Yeah.
I'd rather have a Threadripper chip at 2950 for $799.
Yeah.
You know, only a $30 difference. I'm getting so much more on the Threadripper, and they'll go, okay, we heard you. Tell you what, $679.
Yeah.
And so I think that's exactly what they're doing here. I think this was a planned leak with specs and prices, and this is the second time we've seen them. And the specs really haven't changed. It's the prices that have. Because before, we were seeing prices as low as $500 for their 16-core chip, which would have blown the doors off every single market, period. Especially with some of the leaked benchmarks and the 8-core benchmark that AMD themselves put on stage against a 9900K. Oh, and by the way, their 8-core benchmark is supposed to be a $250 chip that's going to undercut Intel's $600 chip.
Yeah.
And it outperformed it. So
and for $200 more, you can get the way better one.
The double the horsepower.
Yeah.
That still undercuts Intel's 8-core by $100 and is now more than double the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you when you were saying about the price points, that it is probably just a feeler, and they're probably going to go... They're not going to go down. They're not going to go down from what's rumored in this article or what's been rumored before. They're probably going to go up. I'm betting it's going to go up $100 to $75.
I think maybe $50 to $75. I don't think they're going to go up to $100 because you look at their top one. Their top one was $760.
Yeah.
For the 3850X, and I think that's too much for that processor because, like I said, the 2950X, which is the 16-core chip, is currently selling at $799. And Threadripper has so many advantages over Ryzen. It has quad-channel memory. It has a little bit higher, potentially, boost clock. It has, not obviously to the 5.1 gigahertz, but wait till Threadripper 3 comes around the corner around maybe October-ish. Which, by the way, I saw a rumor today that it is coming out sometime this year. Threadripper 3, 7 nanometer.
And Jeff Gannon's gonna
I don't know what to do with my hands! So... $760, I think, is too much for the 760. For the 3850X. Yeah. I think if it launches at that price, I think it'll still sell because, like I said, it's still going to outperform the $600 Intel chip and only a $160 margin. But that also allows AMD to drop the price later on. So get their margins up front with the people who really want it. And I know everyone's going to complain and go, oh, AMD screwed me, and now the processor's $200 less. You're an early adopter. Deal with it.
Yep.
You're AMD's profit center. Sorry.
So you think it'll be for more like a $699?
I think it'll probably launch at maybe $699. I think they have to price it above Intel, even though it's double the power, because they want people to believe that it's better.
Yes.
If
you even give it a lower price, there's that consumer buying idea. It's cheaper.
There's the Intel fanboy mentality that Intel costs $600, so obviously it's going to be better.
Yeah. Obviously, you're using inferior quality metal and whatever. Obviously, that's Korean plastics.
Yeah.
So that's why it's cheaper.
That is totally a thing.
Yeah.
So I think it is going to be priced above the Intel chip. I think it's going to be higher than a 9900K. I think it's probably going to be $699, and I don't know if it'll even be available at launch. They might have the 3800X available, because that was the other rumor that I heard. Was they're only going to launch like a 3800, a 3700, and a 3600 at launch, just like they did for the original two Ryzen launches. I
don't know, but there were 10 on that spreadsheet.
10 Ryzens. Well, but they've always done the staggered launches. This last year, actually, they came out with the APUs first. The 2200 and the 2400G were the first second gen Zen Plus. God, I hate their naming scheme. Zen 2000 processors in the market. Those came out last January, and the 2700X and 2600X didn't come out until late March or the first week of April. So it was quite a gap in there between the launch of the Zen Plus APUs and the new architecture versus the actual high-end consumer chips. So, but yeah, I think we're going to be looking at $699 for probably this 3850X. I think maybe $599 for the 3800X, and then stagger down from there.
But still, the 3700X, and if it is even $499, that's a great deal.
Yeah, even at 501, which is what they're saying, which is again is bulk pricing.
Yeah.
But that's going to be 12 core and still outperform the 9900K. Yeah. You look at the 3600X, that's going to be 12 core, possibly 12 thread. I don't know yet. 349. You look at the 3300G, 3300X. Those are 8 core parts, $200.
Yeah. Oh, that's what everyone's going to start buying if these are as good as everyone's saying. And right now, it's performance-wise, everything is showing that they are going to be. That's going to be the standard chip, or everyone's going to want to build a standard chip. That's going to be the chip you want for your mom to even have of that. Hey, here's a computer that's going to last you the next 10 years because all you do is internet surf. And it's so cheap, it'll perform. And you're going to go to her house and be like, I can work on this computer because it's not dying. It's not sluggish.
Right.
I'm happy here.
Yep.
I can do stuff.
And if I bought a first generation Ryzen board, so I've got a B350M and I've got a 1600 that I bought the day it came out. Tell you what, I can go out and put a 16 core chip in that thing. When's the last time you can go more than one generation in Intel and upgrade your processor? Even if you got one generation in front. Sorry if you bought a 7000 series or a 5000 series or a 3000 series or an 8000 series.
Can't do that.
Sorry. Yep. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We should start hearing more and more of this information coming out from AMD. But I think that's exactly what this was. And like I said, the specs on this did not change. We're still looking at the 3850X being a 4.9 gigahertz base with a 5.1 XFR.
Who needs that? Well, okay. Yeah, I know you need that, but I'm saying the average... I need 2.
Yeah. There was a drink in the other hand. Otherwise I would have raised both.
But that's how ridiculous it is. And especially for the price point that it's probably going to be released. It's just...
Yeah. Yeah, it's jaw-droppingly good.
How?
Yeah. In the history of the Intel-AMD war... It's looking like no one has ever leapfrogged the other as bad as AMD may be about to leap into.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly because I followed this history back since the mid-90s. I've been in technology a long, long time. And I mean, there's been some definite leapfrog moments where someone has gone, oh, we're 70% faster generation over generation than you are today.
Yeah.
That happened with Athlon XP. That happened with the original Core 2 Duo launch. Not the Core Duo or the Pentium D Prescott Dual when Intel was gluing things together. But there have been moments where a competitor has legitimately jumped 50% in front of the other one year over year.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's ever been in a situation where one is looking to double up the other and the other doesn't have a response ready to come out within 6 months. And Intel doesn't have that response right now.
And usually, too, Intel, when they did it, they were like, it's going to cost the consumer.
Right.
We're doubling the performance, but it's going to cost a pretty penny, where AMD is saying, we're doubling plus, and it's not going to break your wallet. It might even be cheaper. You know?
Right. So, exciting times for sure.
Oh yeah, this summer and fall is going to be a fantastic. Everyone's going to be like, let's build a PC.
It's a good time to have gotten into the YouTube space, I got to tell you.
I was going to say, every channel is going to be like, well, let's test out the new AMD Ryzen.
Yep.
What can we do with the 2, or the 3 series, the 5 series, the 7 series?
I'm hoping to bring you the same coverage, to be quite honest. I got into this space simply so I'd have an excuse to buy all the stuff that I always bought. I mean, I have a little bit more than normal, but this is not abnormal for me.
Oh. Yeah.
Maybe having the dedicated room and the wife being okay with it, that's the abnormal part.
I was like, just having an organized shelf, okay, that's a little abnormal for Jeff, because usually it's just like in boxes stacked up. And now it's clean looking behind the camera.
Yeah, I have 3 shelves full of nothing but boxes behind the camera. And everything that is in a box is properly put away, OEM packaged.
Yeah.
I've opened it, I've used it, I've tested it, I've put it back in the box, and I've put it back on the shelf in case I need to use it again, with all the parts back in it and all the thermal paste scrubbed off of it and all the screws put back in the baggies. And I'm pretty anal about getting that stuff back in place.
I just throw it on the rug.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, let that static.
Now this side of the room, that's another story.
And that's why we only focus on
That's right. That's why when you're shooting, you shoot towards the desk. It's this angle here. So, moving on to a little bit more serious topic.
Yeah, this is something we've talked about a lot on this channel.
We talked about at length.
For almost a year, or quite a while.
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Gosh, it's been over a year since we've been doing the show.
Yeah, way over a year.
Way over a year.
I just turned a year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I turned a year last month.
Hops and Brews on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter.
Everything.
And Grindr and...
Yes.
Oh, sorry. They weren't supposed to know about that one.
That's Hops and Brews
Hops,
on Grindr.
Hops plus Brews.
Yeah.
Hops and Brews was already taken.
You'll see that.
But anyway... So yeah, check out John's channel. Yep. Great stuff. You've been posting some really good videos as of late, I gotta say.
Yeah, well, you've been helping me out with some camera stuff and some lighting stuff and suggestions, so that's been really nice. Yep. So, but kind of more on a serious note here, net neutrality. Net neutrality has been a very serious thing. We have a very serious passion about it, especially on this channel.
Yep.
Oregon itself actually has a pretty high passion for it too.
Yes.
We don't like being throttled. We like to have access to everything at our fingers, a fair and balance of everything. Everyone has a voice and should have a voice.
Yep.
And I shouldn't have to pay for a voice.
Yes, exactly. I am a very big proponent of net neutrality because, and not just net neutrality, but common carrier status. Because the internet today, in this day and age, is a vital necessity. Can you do your banking if you have to go into the bank? You really can't. Can you do... Well, you can.
You can still go old school and do it, but it's... You then have to have that dedicated person, pay them, $80,000 a year to be that type of a bookkeeper to do that.
Right.
To where you can now pay an accountant $40,000.
Operating my business here now, this has become a very small business in the 18 months that I've been running the channel. I don't do any work 9 to 5. I don't. I don't do any work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It is completely off the books. Everything I do is after hours. Every email that I send. The only things that I do is sometimes post the videos and sometimes be on Twitter and chat.
Yep.
And that's it. Every other business operation that I do, every email, every meeting, every correspondence is after hours. Because I work 8 to 5 during the day. I have a full-time job. That includes the finances. That includes calling people. That includes getting things that I need. It happens after hours. And yes, I work in the tech industry, but think about your day-to-day life. Think about, I bought a house and I never walked into a bank.
Yep.
And that was in 2010. I talked to my agent over the phone. I talked to my finance manager over the phone. We did electronic signatures on all the documents that I needed over email. I scheduled my appraisal over email. Everything was done online, and that was 9 years ago.
Yep.
And
now it's all just a push of a button, but still online.
Right, online. Everything was online. And for the U.S. government to stand here and say, no, the internet is not a vital service. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. The world as we know it today would not function without the backbone of the internet. And keeping that as a luxury item, which it is right now because it's managed by the FTC, is a crock. And you add into that people who live in rural areas, people who live more than a mile outside of a city of 20,000 or more.
Oh, yeah.
there's no such thing as internet. There's no such thing as good internet access.
No, yeah, you're lucky. You know, you have to go pay for satellite, or you're lucky if you get a cell phone signal.
And have you priced out HughesNet lately? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like $250 a month for 50 gigs. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And it's a 1.5 meg. If you're lucky, if you have perfect signal. And you go down the list of satellite services and LTE services and everything, it's the same pricing.
Jeez.
And so, how are you supposed to live like that?
How are you supposed to do that? How are you supposed to live?
Yeah.
Not saying you can't live.
Right.
Not saying you couldn't do it. But there is a huge inconvenience to modern day living.
Right.
There, you know, if you're trying to do a lot of modern day things, even if you're just trying to, even if you're, let's say, grandparents, and they live on a farm or they live far away, just sending pictures to them of grandchildren or trying to do, say, a video chat because their grandchild is probably in the suburbs or city and trying to do a video chat with grandma.
Yeah.
Or aunt and uncle this somewhere, who knows. They can't do that and they miss out. You know, there are things you can just miss out on.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Again, not saying you can't live.
Well, business-wise, you can't live.
Oh, yeah.
You can't live.
You have to pay top dollar if you're going to do something like
right.
you said. You're just, and then it's going to be super slow.
Right. Exactly.
So it might even be cheaper for you to drive to the nearest Starbucks and just upload and do everything there.
So yeah, so for the U.S. government to stand here and say the internet is not a vital utility to our infrastructure and to everyday life within the United States, that's a crock of crap. So that is my main beef with net neutrality, or with the overturn of net neutrality and the FCC standpoint on this. Before I get head over heels about the story that we're going to dive into here, excuse me. So Congress has just introduced a bill that they're calling the Save the Internet Act, and it is going to repeal the repeal of net neutrality. And if there were any simpler way to explain that, I would, but that's essentially what it does.
Yeah.
Is it repeals Ajit Pai's heavy-handed overturn of the Obama administration's heavy-handed regulation on the internet.
Yeah. Which, not to get political, but it's still all the same party doing this.
Yes.
We don't do that in the show. But
yeah, I'm trying to ride the political fence here. But before I get too over my skis about this and I say, give this all your support, the text for this bill has not been released yet. We don't know what's in this bill.
Yeah.
And so while I think it's a great thing, you need to wait for the bill to actually be announced officially. I mean, it is announced officially at this point, but the text has not been released. And until the text is released and you're able to read it thoroughly and understand what the ramifications of this bill are, because likely there's something else thrown in there that you might not expect.
A lot of times, and that's just
the way politics works.
I need to sneak this in there to get, something aroused. We're net neutrality, but technically we're going to throw this Trojan horse in there.
Right.
That's
exactly it. So, yeah, but before I tell all of you to get behind this bill, and honestly, net neutrality is one of the only political statements I will ever make on this show, because it does affect everyone unilaterally. The text for this has to come out first. We need to understand what it is we're getting behind. I think it's exciting that there is a bill, that there is movement behind this, and that it does seem to have some popular opinions in the populace.
Yeah.
And you know what? The populace works because we vote our congressmen and senators in. If they're not voicing your opinion, vote them out. And that's about as political as I'll get on that too. Stop voting just party line. Vote how you feel and how you're being represented. That's the whole point of the system and how it works. So you use your vote. Your vote actually does count for something.
Yep.
Anyway, it has been introduced to Congress. There's a waiting time on when it can be voted on. I don't know the timeline yet. We don't know the text yet, but something to keep an eye on. There is a bill before both houses of Congress right now to repeal the FCC's repeal of net neutrality rules.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you'll hear about this again when the official text comes out.
Yes.
We'll probably talk about it, like Jeff says. This is one of the very few things that we even talk about politically.
And the reason I talk about it
serious.
is because it has 90% backing of the U.S. populace.
Yeah.
And the 10% that it doesn't, they probably don't understand or are employed by cable companies. So, there you go.
Yep. Before we get into the next one,
I was just thinking
what,
the same thing.
What are you thinking? You want straight?
I'm thinking we go with a beer, and then we'll kind of...
I mean, or we can go that, but yeah, that's beer. So, I will get... since it's not a full pint, I don't...
the Rogue glasses right in front are 12 ounce. Yeah, the ones you had your hands on. No, up. Right there. Yeah,
These are?
Those are 12s.
They do not look like 12s.
They're 12s. I promise.
They are so... Okay.
I promise.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Jeez. Break my stuff.
These are not 12s.
Those are 12s.
Those are 16s.
I promise. These are 12s.
They may have a 12 mark.
No, we poured 12-ounce cans into these earlier. They're narrow bottoms.
Okay.
They're narrow bottoms than you think.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe you.
Now, we're pouring a 16 into it, so it really doesn't matter.
Yes.
I don't know why we're arguing.
I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So.
Unless you wanted to go for Crux.
No.
Okay.
We can do that.
King Sue?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the King Sue double IPA. Now, someone had said it's only a 7.8%. It can't be called a double if it's only 7.8.
No. Now, you might be thinking Pseudo Sue.
Right, there's Pseudo Sue, which is the 7.4 or 7.8.
Yeah, give me a second as I look this up. You can go ahead. I couldn't find it on the label.
Yeah. It has to be listed. Anyway, Toppling Goliath Brewing Company. This is the King Sue double IPA.
7.8?
Really?
7.8.
Those lying bastards.
Oh,
so this is a mango and orange citrus front.
yeah. 100 IBU.
Just, I can smell it.
Yes. So.
You got just a hair less.
That's I have more cans.
Yes. Okay.
don't.
You're holding out on me.
Don't feel bad. Well, I need one for a review and then one for later.
See, I usually buy them in threes.
I bought these in
because
fours.
I have one on the on my standard filming, and then I'll do 2 for the live show.
Yeah.
So see, you need to start buying in 4s.
I bought this in 4, but
I only see one can.
Well, I had one earlier. With
There you go.
I need one for a review. I need one for. I have another brother coming in who wants to drink it. And I need one for myself.
Yeah.
So see, there you go. One. At least I share.
My brother Terry, my other brother Terry.
I have a lot of brothers.
Brother Daryl. There we go. Oh, the smell is just so good.
Oh, yeah, it's a very nice smell.
So good.
Very tropical smelling.
Yeah.
Now there's no fruit in this. That's what I love about it. That's one of the few things I do love about the hazies is the very aromatic. I like that.
Very good.
Very good.
Kind of like an orange juice. It bites you right up front.
Oh yeah.
There's a tang right on the front of the taste.
Really, even a tang at the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of. Someone described this. I saw them as saying, "Soft like a pillow." That's how the body is. It's a softer body.
I wouldn't describe that mainly because of the carbonation that's in it. The carbonation dances a lot more than some other IPAs.
So, what is interesting is Steve and I were discussing that this isn't as fruity as he was expecting it, and I kind of stated, well, I kind of like that because there isn't fruit in there. All the fruit and aromatics, everything is just hops.
It's just hops.
It's just hops.
Right.
I actually really like that, to where a lot of hazies, they throw a fruit into it. You know,
right.
The milkshakes or the Great Notions where they'll throw like
they'll throw like chunks of strawberry into it.
Yeah, strawberry hazy IPA. I was like, yeah, it's sweet, it's great, but
John's been known to do that.
That's what you've been at. Always bringing that up. Always bringing that up.
I couldn't resist.
One thing blows up, then another thing blows up in Jeff's room.
I haven't even talked about that yet.
Every beer I give Jeff that's mine somehow blows up at his house.
I haven't even talked about that. So we were preparing a shipment of beer for a fan of the channel who we were doing a beer swap with. And he brought the cans over and he put them upstairs here. And I'm like, okay, I'll add a couple of cans and I'll pass it on to Steve and we'll pass it on to Rhett and we'll get it boxed up. So it's in my office for about a week. And I'm sitting here late at night one night and I heard this ping. And what the was that? And I'm looking all around and I thought someone had thrown a piece of metal at my house. And so I'm walking around out in the snow and the rain with a flashlight out in front of my house, like 11 at night, going, what the hell was that? Someone hit my car? What?
Yeah.
Came back upstairs, couldn't figure it out. I'm sitting up here and I hear a ding, ding, ding. just like these little pings and pops every once in a while. And I had just done electrical work over here, like on the back wall. I redid the circuit over here.
Yeah.
And so I was worried that like I had like an electrical fire in my wall. So I was about ready to crawl up into my attic and fix this. Well, anyway, the next day, Steve came over and to do a show. And we're standing over here, and one explodes while we're standing there. It goes poof, and he goes what happened was earlier in the day another one had blown the top, and I didn't realize it. But I'm sitting in the office and I'm like, that's the same sound that happened earlier. What the hell is going on? Steve came over later, and we're standing over here opening my whiskey cabinet, and he goes, the floor's all sticky. Why is the floor all sticky? And I said, I noticed that too. I have no. Wait a second. And we opened the box, and 4 of the cans inside the box had blown. Because John had homebrewed. And they homebrewed it. And they were can conditioned, and they blew up inside the box. So everything John gives me that's homebrew blows up in some way or form. I'm so sorry.
I thought it was going in the garage later.
It was 72 in here, which happens to be the fermentation temperature. So it was continuing to ferment.
It's okay. A couple actually, Steve came over one day and I was putting my TV in, and I kicked a 6-pack of that it was a cider.
Yeah.
And like 2 of them just by me like trying to slightly just push it to the side.
No. John gets every last ounce of ABV he can in those things.
Yeah. I need to get it full. I get my worth out of those cans.
You guys should do a cider show. Do you like cider? Love cider.
Love cider.
We love cider.
Yep.
I actually have quite a few down in my garage right now. I've got a bunch from Two Towns. I've got, what is the one that I've been saving? The 11.5% cider.
Anthem?
No, it wasn't. No, it's not Anthem. It's another Two Towns. It's the Sumptown. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the unfiltered 11.5% cider.
Yeah, I know exactly what.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yes, it's a limited release.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it in the store. That was a $12 cider.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Isn't it Naughty or Nice or?
No. Dang it! Now you're gonna make me look it up.
Steve and I we actually homebrew about 10 to 15 gallons of cider ourselves per year.
Sometimes.
No, I don't think.
No, it's not that.
No. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so we all love ciders. Actually, when I had
Serious Scrump.
Okay.
Two Town Cider House.
Yeah.
I knew what it was. But yeah, Serious Scrump. It's an 11% cider. Yeah, and I've got a bunch of their stuff down in the garage. We have a farm that's maybe about 7 or 8 miles from me, Bauman Farms, that makes amazing cider. There's 1859 down in Salem. That they're an amazing cider house. So yeah, there's a lot of good cider around here.
Oh yeah,
a lot of good stuff. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Now that we got sidetracked for like 5 minutes.
Well, if it was Rhett, we'd be here for 20.
We'd be here for 20, and the rant counter would be going.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so some good announcements from Intel this week that kind of corresponded. Were you okay over there?
Yeah, just
a little strawberry caught in your throat. Oh, I love it. Anyway, some announcements from Intel this week that kind of corresponded with some announcements from the USB Naming Foundation.
Woohoo! I was going to say, this is a shocking article.
Yeah. Which is they have some of the worst naming conventions on the planet. So USB 3.2 Generation 2x2 was announced.
Yeah.
That's the official name. USB 3.2 Gen 2.2x2. That was the official spec that was announced. It's a 20 gigabit per second USB 3.0 spec. Okay.
I'm liking that.
But we always knew that Thunderbolt was faster because Thunderbolt has direct connection to PCI Express lanes and can be scalable and linkable and daisy chainable and carries DisplayPort technology and everything else. So Thunderbolt is the superior technology to USB. However, Thunderbolt has been a closed license because Intel owns Thunderbolt. Intel co-developed Thunderbolt with cooperation with Apple, and between the two of them, kind of licensed it out. So at this point, there's only 462, I wanted to say.
Yeah, it was 420, or was it 420?
420, 400 and change.
Yeah, 400
Thunderbolt capable devices, because that's the limitations of that licensure. Now, Intel has said, as of 2017, when Thunderbolt 3 comes around, we are going to open license Thunderbolt. You still have to meet our specifications, but we will license it to you for free.
Yep.
That just happened.
It did. Got announced.
And in conjunction with that, USB 4 has now been announced, which, by the way, USB 1 or USB, Universal Serial Bus, was the original name. Then we had USB 1.1, USB 2.0. There's always been a space between USB and the number. Now it's USB 4. No space. Again, worst naming conventions on the planet. Stick with something and just go. Just decide on something and go with it, please. As a tech reviewer, I can't keep all the different revisions of USB 3 in my head right now, let alone what happens when Thunderbolt 3 comes out.
Well, there are 4 revisions in this, so this will be the 5th.
No, there's 1, 1.1,
no, I mean
2.
3. There are 4 revisions of 3.
Right. Yeah. There's 1, 1.1, 2.0, 3.0, 3.1, 3.1 Type C, 3.1 with Thunderbolt. There's 3.2, 3.2 Gen 2x2. Yeah. And by the way, these all share the same 2 ports. They're either Type A or Type C. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine on if you plug something in, if it's actually going to work with Universal Serial Bus.
I love those memes of wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly until the 3 came out. But
I love USB-C. Okay. I just want to go on record as saying I love USB-C.
No matter where, you're good to go.
I just wish I didn't have to give up my headphone jack for it. So USB 4 is now a thing, and USB 4 is going to incorporate Thunderbolt 3. And so they are going to be the same exact spec, and they should announce the specifications for this sometime in the second half of 2019. And we should start seeing parts with that sometime within the 6 months after that. Yep. So if you are a fan of the USB devices, if you're a fan of Thunderbolt devices, those are coming together into one product category now. They're going to be the same daisy chainable. They're going to be the same backwards compatible. So every USB device back to the beginning of time, your old Apple USB floppy drive, will plug into this and work because it's all the same technology going forward. However, we've moved from an 11 megabit per second speed. USB 4 is a 40 gigabit per second bandwidth.
Oh, God, it's going to be fantastic.
Direct PCI Express connected. And it kind of goes along with what AMD is pressing, which is PCI Express lanes are important, and that shouldn't be a determining factor in what your CPU has. It should just be, if I plug a device in, it works at that speed because this processor supports X number of devices. Yeah. Instead of Intel, where they're still shipping processors with 16 and 24 PCIe lanes, and then it's a premium to go up from there with a couple 100 megahertz boost to go with it. So exciting if you like.
It's going to take a while.
External devices. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but I think this should be faster adopted than any of the Thunderbolt or USB 3 specs because both of them are going to be open source free licensed.
Yeah, that'll be the nice part. I think the 2020 market phones, laptops, like I said, USB devices, Thunderbolt device, they're all just going to become one, and we're just going to see these awesome just plug in, check out the speeds of my portable hard drive, or transferring phone data,
external graphics,
all of that. It's going to be just seamless, seamless, almost no lag.
Yep.
4K stuff is just going to transfer like it's like a JPEG.
Yep. Che, it's mind-boggling that Apple doesn't just go with USB-C ports on their phones. Well, if they cared about their consumers, they probably would. 12 months ago, I was pro-Apple. Today, no.
It was a little bit longer than 12 months, but yeah.
Okay, the shine was coming off at 12 months ago. Okay.
There was rust.
That's fair. But last year at this time, I was still using an iPhone.
Yeah, but you were it was the 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was slowly growing tired of it.
But you only had the 6 year, you're like, oh, it's starting to die. And I'm not upgrading because I don't want it.
Or no, I guess it was Christmas. It was Christmas time.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I've been on Android for 14 months now. 15 months. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Data center news.
No, there was something else. Unless we're skipping that one.
Seagate.
Okay. Then you have your tabs just.
Do I?
Oh.
No, back one. One more.
Oh,
Seagate.
Okay.
Seagate data center.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I skipped. My bad. But I will say
you have one job.
You did double up. Oh no, you didn't.
No,
they look very similar.
Those are updates. There's the original story, and then there's an update.
Oh, apparently I didn't.
Yeah. Ooh. You have one job around here.
Yeah, to bring beer.
Yeah. And you brought one.
I brought gin.
You brought gin.
I brought gin.
And you brought Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. This was only $25.
I know. It's not an expensive gin.
No, it's not an expensive gin. It's not. I think it's actually a really good. After whatever, when you try it straight, I would drink this as a sipping gin.
Good to know.
For $25, it is a nice high mid-range.
Nice.
Gin.
There's a couple of gins that I have that are like that are right in the same price point. Now I do have one gin that's a $40 gin, and that is freaking fantastic.
Is that the one I had last time?
That's the barrel aged. Yeah. Barrel finished gin. That one is absolutely fantastic. Just as it tastes like a whiskey. It is so good. But that's a $40 bottle. I've got the ironic thing about that one, I haven't found a cocktail that I like with it yet.
And that's the thing is with this one. See, this drink I would have preferred a drier gin, but a gin and tonic.
For the Gordon's cup. Yeah. I use usually a Gordon's Dry.
Yeah.
I just use the Gordon London's Dry. That's a $15 gin, $21 if you buy it in the handle.
Yeah, but for like just a nice easy gin and tonic.
Yeah,
this works. Well.
Gin and tonic. This would be amazing.
This works well, and as a nice, I will take 2 ounces of this, 4 ounces of this. I'll just sip on it because it's just sweet enough.
Yeah,
I can just have it straight.
Yeah,
that's what I really like about it.
Yep.
But yeah, Seagate
recently announced. Oops, I opened the wrong one.
A data center.
Yep.
Cool,
new data center technology for their hard drives. Now, Seagate is one of the industry leaders for hard drive technology. And yes, mechanical drives are still a thing because as much as we like to hype solid state drives, they still don't match capacities as far as what's affordable.
No.
So Seagate is coming out with a new technology that in their 10 and 15,000 RPM drives is going to dramatically improve read speeds and possibly write speeds, although not sequential write speeds. It'll help random.
I would have thought this was more read than write.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they are splitting the actuators on their hard drive. So you're still going to have one row of actuators on a drive. So there's a great picture of it. Yep. I was trying to model it with my hands. Yep. So typically what you do is you have one drive head per platter. And it can be top and bottom. Most of the drives just use one side though.
Yeah.
So in their high-end drives, they've got 8 platters in some of these drives, and they'll have 8 read heads on there. Well, those 8 read heads move as one unit. Yeah.
It's still like a record.
Right. They sweep like this, and so each platter is its own record with one needle, but you can only move that stack of needles at the same time. What they're doing is they're splitting that. So now you can have 4 heads on the bottom stack reading and 4 heads on the top stack reading. What this is immensely going to help is random I/O. It is not the sequential data, because if all the data is on the hard drive in one stripe on the same platter, you're still reading off a single head. Yeah. But for your random reads and your random I/Os, if you need to search multiple platters for pieces of data, this is going to find it 2 to 4 times faster. Because it's not going to have to seek as hard, and the spindles have to move quite a bit less.
Yep. Less heat too.
Less heat too, exactly. So this could dramatically improve and give the same kind of read performance increase that like a RAID 1 would give. Mm-hmm. Typically with RAID 1, you have the same write speed because you're just sending the data to 2 different paths. But then your read speed can be doubled because you can read it from 2 sources. This can have the same kind of impact for that on your random I/O. So kind of a cool technology.
Yeah, it's cool. Now, didn't they say this was still not theoretical, but it's still in
it's still very much in development.
Development is so it's not 100% done, but they're really close.
Yeah.
And they didn't give it a launch date or anything like that,
right.
or a preview date of any kind. But this was actually really cool in the world of disk hard drive. Like you were saying, solid state. Everyone's talking about solid states. We have 10 terabyte solid states. They're super cheap now in comparison.
Well, 2 terabytes.
2 terabytes. Well, 1 terabyte is $99. For solid state.
They're still about $199.
I would know. I've seen some on sale for $190 or $99.
That's true.
You can find them randomly on sale.
Yeah.
But again, everyone goes to that. But now, this is not consumer meant. This is, like Jeff was saying, data center.
Right.
And really what it comes down to, I think, is the speed. But I also actually think it is the heat.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why I said that. Is less heat, which is less cost for less cooling.
Well, remember, in the data center, efficiency wins. It's not raw speed or raw performance. It's efficiency. It's performance per watt. And watts equals heat. Yeah. And so exactly, if you can save the read time on a hard drive and save the time that your processor is having to crank through that data and save on the heat that drive is generating by having to spin, X fast to pull all that data off, and you reduce the time from beginning to end of process, you're going to save money.
Yeah.
And like I said, for data centers, it's performance per square foot or wattage drawn per square foot versus performance. So yeah.
And actually, what's really funny is I believe 2 months from now, Huawei will announce that they have something very similar. Or whatever.
Huawei.
Yeah.
Huawei.
Whatever. They're probably going to announce that, hey, check out our version.
That's right.
It goes,
we're entering the hard drive market.
It's the opposite way.
Yeah. We're entering the hard drive market, and we developed it all on our own.
Exactly. We came up with this.
Hey, Seagate, would you manufacture these for us?
Yeah, I'm going to laugh, though, if, 6 months from now, we have a news article.
That Huawei is entering the hard drive market? Oh, we'll totally cover it.
Oh, that'd be so
We
great.
will totally cover that. What else do we got? Graphics. So I don't know if you saw the updated article.
I did not.
So there's 2 articles posted.
I only saw this one.
Okay. So this is the one that was released, I think Sunday night or Monday morning. That Dell might have accidentally released that an RTX 2050 GPU is coming.
This is hard. This is a hard stretch, though.
Especially for mobile.
Yeah.
So here's the picture, and this is from Dell's website, and they're going over a Dell XPS 15, I believe it was. And so important details. The USB-C Thunderbolt port will be on systems with RTX 2060, while the USB-C display port will be on systems with an RTX 2050. We don't know about that card yet. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. A ray traced card 2050. That's interesting. So there was some speculation going around that Dell may have accidentally released a product name before it was officially announced by Nvidia or officially unveiled or some other thing. Well, Dell today, next article please, corrected that slide. It now says a 1660 Ti mobile. Which, again, is kind of news because there's no 1660 Ti mobile chip yet. But I'm still kind of confused as to how Dell got the RTX 2050 information. Did they guess? Did they release it too early? Is this a backtrack going, well, there's going to be a 1660 Ti because NVIDIA said so, but there's also an RTX 2050 and it's going to we laptop and we can't tell you about it yet. But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
So, some random guy who writes their HTML webpage was like, hey, yeah, Jim, what's up? And just kept going with it.
Right.
And, oh, crap, submit. Dang, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
not even that. The number had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it was some random number. I think he had a fact sheet in front of him, but it might have said, don't release till X date,
Right, March 17th.
Yeah, March 17th. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. And he released it.
And this happens all the time.
Yeah.
This happened for RTX 2060 numbers, I believe, from Lenovo.
Yeah.
Or 2000 series GPUs from Lenovo that they release specs early. So this does happen, especially in the laptop market, because there's no major press release for it from Nvidia, or there's no major press event, so the embargo dates are kind of fluid. And so, are we getting an RTX 2050? I don't know. Did Dell screw up? Almost guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Now, are you gonna get that RTX 2050 on a laptop? That's hard.
No.
No. Well, no. Okay. I meant to say that's gonna be a weird, hard, expensive announcement to do that. I don't know.
The laptop mobile GPUs have just been the desktop dies shrunk, not even shrunk down, just adapted for mobile and given lower thermal range.
Okay.
And so the chips that we're getting in the mobile is the exact same die that you're getting on the desktop cards.
Oh, okay.
And that's been ever since Pascal.
Okay.
So
then I just misunderstanding on my part.
Yep. So John was not familiar with that. Now we're all that's cool. We're all here to learn.
And just blame me because
as far as the 900 series of Nvidia cards, there was the GTX 980, and then there was a GTX 980M, which was essentially half the performance of a 980. And they had the same naming scheme, but it said M afterwards, and it was a mobile variant of that die. So it was a different die, different memory.
That's usually what I'm expecting is mobile something.
Right. Exactly. Now, as of the Pascal series, so as of 10 series and now 16 series and 20 series, whatever the hell you want to call it, they're the exact same dies as the desktop chips. The memory might be cut down a little bit as far as bandwidth goes. There might be some power constraints. There might be some thermal constraints, but it's the same exact chip.
Okay.
So yeah, transferring from an RTX 2080 desktop chip to an RTX 2050 laptop chip is the same translation.
Okay.
So, yep.
I did that for you.
Now we all know.
That's and right. Knowing is half the battle.
Because knowledge is power. G.I. Joe. A story near and dear to your heart, I'm sure.
Oh, if only you heard my rant earlier, guys. If only.
John, you want to take the lead on this one?
So, Volvo. This actually isn't super techy. We do have a bit of car chat on Jeff's Discord.
Yep.
Now, if you're not a member of Jeff's Discord, it's a fantastic community. Minimum of $1 to join.
Yep.
And we have
link to the Patreon down below.
Yeah. We have a number of different channels, and one of them is a car talking area where we get to geek out on some of our car stuff. Jeff is a bit of a car enthusiast himself, on top of many tech stuff that he does have.
I do like cars. I don't necessarily work on cars, but I enjoy them. I've had a number of cool cars over the years. Most recently, I have had a Toyota MR2 Spider and a Nissan 350Z Roadster.
Yeah.
Those are my two latest that I...
And so one of the things that everyone picks on me for on the channel is having a fleet of Volvo.
Damn Swedish.
So someone went and posted something very interesting. Volvo in the 2020 year will limit all of their cars to a 112-mile speed limit.
Yep. Hard limit.
Hard limit.
Also 180K for those in metric lane.
Yes. Their reasoning behind this is for their guaranteed safety to not kill anyone.
Right.
Guaranteed to not kill anyone. Which I don't understand because I actually went and looked up some other specs and they've already limited their cars to 155.
Right.
What's the 112 to
Well, there's a 70% difference in kinetic energy
I
there.
get that, but I mean, okay, I don't push my car to 150. I don't even push my car to 112. When do I ever drive to 112? Only when it's snowy outside and I don't want to go have fun, but no. I barely push it to 100. I'm not going to go and push my car to that big of a limit for a brand new, $40,000 Volvo. $50,000 probably. And now you're telling me you're limiting it to 112, which is for safety. No, I want a little bit of power. I want a little bit of danger.
Well, you'll have full power. It just stops you at 112. It stops
me at 112, but
When have you gone 112?
I've pushed my cars at least 125 just for hey, I could do that.
I do all my cars once.
Oh yeah, maybe twice.
I buy them. I do the oil change. I go through them. I take them to the mechanic. I have them all checked out. I'll get them onto a backcountry road one time, and I will go balls to the wall. And go, okay, 142. Cool, I'm good.
When I had the tap room and I came home late at night, the freeway was empty. So yeah, I'd be like, that stretch between Brooks and Woodburn, I would. All right, let's go. Or between that bridge and the Woodburn exit, exit. I would just hit it, and let's see how fast I can get before I hit the exit.
The stupidest thing I've ever done was I drove from Sun River to Aurora, which for those who live in Oregon, it's quite the drive. It's over a mountain pass and about 60 miles of I-5.
Yeah.
I did that in an hour and 45.
That's impressive. That's very
I
impressive.
Averaged 110 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life, and I will never, ever do that again.
This just detours me from the price point that I'm going to get, or that I'm paying for this Volvo.
Yeah.
I actually like Volvos.
It doesn't deter me at all. It
like
doesn't.
Volvos. I just found this stupid. I really just found this stupid. It's you're telling the consumer, we don't trust you.
Yeah, you are saying that. But at the same time, I don't trust 99% of the population to drive 112 miles an hour. I don't trust them to do 50.
Yes, so then why do it? Why do it? You're taking that luxury away from me of, I'm going to spend 40 to 50K on a car that I want to have at least some power. I want to know I can get and go. And if I need to go 125, 150 for that one little bit, I want to go above, every now and then I've caught
what I want to know is if there's going to be a track mode to this, or if there's going to be some kind of thing that you can turn on.
Volvos are too heavy to be track cars. They used to be really cool rally cars.
Have I ever gotten a ticket? No, I have not.
You haven't.
I have not.
You and I have gotten tickets.
I know you have. I have never gotten a ticket. I should have gotten a ticket one time.
Yeah.
One time. I got caught dead to rights doing 25 or 30 over.
Oh. How did you not get a ticket then?
In Salem with a state trooper. Right before it turns back into 65, and this was back when it was 55 through the middle of Salem on I-5. So for those who don't know, Salem at exit, 260?
Yeah,
it's the 45th parallel.
It is the 45th parallel.
It is. It's the 45th axis
between the equator
latitude
and North Pole.
Right, exactly. So it's halfway between the North Pole and the equator.
That's if you want to know where Craft Compute is. We live on the
we live on the 45th parallel. Anyway, so that sign is literally the top of a crest of a hill.
Yep.
And it's completely blind going over the top of it. And
cops love to hang out there.
They hang out there all the time. And I was literally just driving. I had a 95 Toyota Celica red.
Oh, yes.
And I was young. I was 20, 21 maybe. And I'm just cruising through I-5. Yeah, I'm talking to a friend of mine in the passenger seat, and I'm just chatting it up with him. I'm not paying much attention. There's no traffic on the road. And I come over the top of the hill, and I realize I'm doing 85.
Oh.
In a 55, okay?
Yeah.
And so right as I go, holy crap, I let off my gas, and I see a state trooper go on my left side. And I went, and I look at my rearview mirror, and he wasted no time. No lights, just he's out into the road, and he is barreling up behind me. So what I did is I waited for my 5-speed car, and so I just let off the gas and let it coast. Never touch the brake. Yeah, that's important. Don't admit your guilt. Don't admit your guilt with a brake light.
Don't ever show cherries.
Right. So don't admit your guilt with a brake light. Let off the gas until I hit 74, and then I hit the cruise.
Yeah.
And I just locked it at 74. Because I would rather get a 19-mile-an-hour ticket with a cop on a good day than keep it at 85 and meet a cop on a bad day.
Yeah.
He followed behind me for 7 miles. Literally just... We're just cruising on the left lane. I'm not changing lanes. I'm not taking my hands off the steering wheel.
The whole time.
Just 10 and 2. Just
didn't even turn to talk to my friend.
I'm just driving. Just flip on your lights so I can stop sweating this out.
Yeah.
He gets to the emergency turnout lane, and he pulls off the left side of the road and turns around.
He was like...
Lets me go.
Oh, my God. You were lucky.
That is the closest I've ever been.
Lucky.
And someone said, built, not bought. I bought, technically, my cars, but I do have plans to build up the 350Z. So I bought the MR2 about a year and a half ago. Drove the car for about 6 months, and I loved the car, loved the performance. About as close as I can ever get to a Lotus Elise without spending $30,000. And ultimate sports car, so zippy, so fun. John drove it a couple times. He had a blast with it.
Very fun during the corners, because it was just...
It hooks to every corner. You cannot take a corner too fast. It's not possible in that car.
That says 25 miles an hour.
70.
60, easy, nothing. I got this.
Any corner you want to take, you can take it.
It was a go-kart.
It was.
Yeah.
But bought that car, planned on doing a little bit of work to it. I was going to do a 2ZZ swap and do a couple other things to it. It didn't fit me. I'm 6'5", and 6'5" in a Lotus Elise / Toyota MR2 Spider just doesn't work long term. And
you look like you were doing like one of those rowboat things. With your legs were just
so I ended up taking a little bit of a loss on that car. I sold it for about $1,000 less than I bought it for. Just because it was uncomfortable to drive for me for more than 20 minutes at a time. And I traded it in for a 2004 Nissan 350Z Roadster. 6-speed car, had 90,000 original miles on it, one owner, fantastic car. I mean, someone drove this on Sundays, kind of thing. Now, and the thing I sought out with this car was 6-speed, convertible, and bone stock.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone to have messed with it. I didn't want extra, non-OEM rims. I wanted everything to be completely OEM on it because I want to make this car how I want to make it. Now, I'm not going to make a racing car. I'm not going to make a huge performance car, but I do want to do a couple performance mods to it. Mm-hmm. I want to do some long tube headers, get it to breathe a little bit better. I want to put a tune on the car. I want to do either a 3.9 or a 408 rear end in it. Stock is a 355, and the power band is really... It's a really long power band, but you don't get into power until about 3,500 RPM, and then it starts tapering off at 5,500.
Okay.
And so you have to be in the exact right gear to be in the power band. And it's tough to drive this car fast. If you drive it just through traffic, you're driving a Nissan Altima. And so while it's fun, when you can rev it up and spool it a little bit, not that it's a...
Oh.
My camera just turned off.
Audio's still going.
Yep, audio's still going.
Hey! First, is the power not plugged in?
No, we're plugged in, we're charging. The camera has an auto off. There we go.
Oh, well, there's a new feature you're going to have to toy with.
Okay,
let's see. There we go. We're good.
Okay, we're good.
We're good. My shirt looks weird.
So anyway, it has kind of this weird power band where you have to be just exactly in the right power band, and you only have one gear to do it in. I can't like switch between third and fourth and be in the same power band. So to drive it quickly and do some track time, you shoot. Okay.
All right. Bear with us.
Second here.
Apparently, your camera does not like car talk.
Well, I think the problem is actually switch out here.
We will be right back. We are just switching cameras.
I need that technical difficulty screen.
Yes. And you need like some waiting elevator music.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I want to set up a technical difficulty screen with some elevator music in it and a little animated GIF.
You didn't have like Bender, that whistle. Yeah, that one. If I could whistle, I could. I would sing, but I can't.
And of course, this battery is at 16%, so that's not going to help for very long. But give me another second, and I can get the power adapter hooked up.
Hey, wide angle.
Yep. So there's this. There's this. We're going to do our other camera. It's probably an issue with my USB-C adapter. So brand new camera. I'll explain in a second.
Yep, that's what it is. Or we should have like Jordy LaForge being technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anyone saying? What's everyone saying in chat right now? Loyal supporter. Yep, Alex. Thank you. Camera needs additional pylons. I'm singing Mighty Python and the Holy Grail intermission music. Alan says he didn't do it. He swears.
Alan. I know it's Alan.
Oh, you know what we haven't done. I know that, but the giveaway.
We have not. Oh, we have not done the giveaway.
We have not done the giveaway.
We have not.
We were supposed to do that early on. And
we were.
We apologize.
I completely forgot.
Yes. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're back on. Look at that.
How about we do that after all the news and before we get into chat?
Yeah.
We can do. That'll be the very first thing we do. You want to bust through a couple of these really quick? I know we were talking about cars, but I didn't know if you want to continue your talk.
There's been a new Spectre/Meltdown/speculative execution bug that was discovered. There's a very interesting deep dive article if you're interested down in the video description.
It was a pretty deep dive article.
It's a deep dive article. You really need to know what you're talking about. This one's kind of unique in the fact that it can be exploited with a JavaScript web page or local access to the machine.
Yeah.
So a malicious user account on a machine, even a virtual machine on the physical host, can access other threads within that machine.
And what the cool thing, or the interesting thing not cool thing, but the interesting part was also it's any gen.
Yeah.
It's all the way back to Intel Gen 1s.
Yeah.
So this is a super big flaw in there, and Intel did not respond to them, kind of almost sounding like they're not going to do anything about this for another couple generations because it's just going to cost them probably way too much money to fix their proprietary, wasn't a die, I forget what it was, that,
well, it's member share.
Member shares, thank you. Their proprietary way they do member share. They stated that AMD did not have a problem with any of this. This is an only Intel issue.
Sorry. Yeah. That's my new baby. Yeah, we're back on my Sony for right now. So this is my new baby. It's a Fuji X-T3. There's no problem with it, except for the fact that it's USB-C powered, and I think I had it plugged into a power adapter that wasn't quite up to snuff to keep it going the whole time. So I think
it wasn't charging enough.
It wasn't charging enough, so I think the battery just died while we were using it. So I'll get that fixed next week. But yeah, it's my new baby. That's my new 4K 60 FPS.
Very
beast.
nice looking. It actually looked even better.
Yeah.
Than what's on now.
Yeah.
It looks very nice.
So, yeah, my old camera was good, and for live streams, honestly, the Sony is just fine, but this is an amazing beast. APS-C, 4K, 60 FPS, shoots in DCI 4K as well, so I might do some 17:9 content on the channel before too long. Shoots at 400 megabit if you want it to. Does F-Log for color sampling, does so many cool things. Love this camera. Give it some airtime there. There we go. Right next to the Aviation.
There we go.
All right.
Game. You want to talk a little game?
Let's go ahead and do the giveaway.
Giveaway. All right, so let's just go to the giveaway.
We'll do the giveaway now.
You have the winner?
I have not chosen a winner.
I have not. I was actually going to talk to you of hey, did you pick one?
I didn't, and I figured what we would do is we would kind of read the comments on the air, and then...
well, there's a couple of them that can't win.
Yeah.
That are actually really good.
Yeah. Oops. All right. So, for those who don't know, we're doing a Rogue Ales and Spirits down in Newport, Oregon. They released the out-of-line IPA, which is the glassware that we have here. We are giving away a prize pack. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with beer, but it does come with pint glass. It comes with a nice Rogue Nation hat, a shirt, and some...
All the swag you get at like a beer event, a tap takeover.
Exactly.
All the big swag that you do with that.
Right. I have a couple favorites from the comments, but I'm just going to go ahead and read a couple of them. I live so far outside the lines that I buffer overflowed from stack queue into the heap.
I like that one.
I figured you would like that one.
I like that one.
I live outside the lines by thinking that whine is an emulator.
That was actually my favorite.
I like that one. I live outside the lines by not being a colossal jackass.
This was the good read, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit big, but yeah. It was a fun read.
Let's see. I live outside the lines by strapping myself into a race car proper a half dozen times a year and sending it. Yes. I do like that one. Although he's disqualified me because he beat me.
Yeah.
Live outside the lines. I apply to win contest for beer merch for beer I probably won't like.
Which I thought it was more like you were thinking you were going to get beer, but I like this. This is cool. And anytime I can get beer merch, I love beer merch.
And a penguin with a jetpack? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's amazing. Let's see. I live outside the lines by using CPU that heavily bottlenecks my GPU.
That one was funny.
I live outside the lines by watching Talking Heads each week while I should be working. I know I can't win, but wanted to contribute anyway because he lives in Canada.
To me, that was the winner, but...
Yeah. I live so far outside the lines, I buffer overflowed. Ooh, that one's already been used. Live outside the lines by not living in the country in hopes that the giveaway happens. And I live outside the lines by using 70% isopropyl alcohol to clean electronics. Actually, I do too.
Really?
I do use isopropyl alcohol to clean electronics.
I thought he was referring to just standard liquor.
No, I actually rescued a video card that had been dunked in seawater.
Oh, I know the video card.
You know the video card.
I know the video
it's
card.
Actually in that computer now.
Really?
It's working.
Oh.
Yeah. So Claude, the 1080 that you sent me that was dunked in seawater, it's in my Dishonored build right now.
Wasn't that supposed to be mine?
I put no. So I put a different water block on it, but it fires up and it benches and it works.
Hey.
And that was fixed with 70% isopropyl alcohol. So.
Well, he said below 70.
No.
Under.
Under.
So that's what I was.
No.
I was under the assumption he's just taking vodka or gin or something and just rubbing it in. So it's like, oh, okay. Good for you.
This clean card.
One for you, one for me.
Nice. So
my vote is for the wine.
The wine.
I like the wine. That's that. But you are the host.
I kind of like the wine too because it's rather topical.
It's up to you.
It's either the wine or the stack overflow.
Both those are one and two.
Those are my 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I am gonna give it. Tell you what, I'm gonna grab a coin
And just flip it.
We'll flip it between those two.
Flip it. And the coin. Oh, is it one of the Bitcoins?
You know, I have Bitcoins over there.
Where are the Bitcoins?
They're in a cardboard box.
Are they the Bit?
Oh, they're under there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes. All right, it's all going to be determined by Bitcoin here, guys.
That's right. Organizational system is going to crap. All right, so should we flip Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin?
Do you have Steven Seagal coins?
Ripple. I don't have any Bitcoin. I should buy one. We've got Litecoin. I've got a couple different Ripples.
Doesn't matter. Any kind of cryptocurrency will do.
So for those who don't know, I have cryptocurrency coins, physical coins. I've got quite a few of them. I've got the Bitcoin, yeah.
All right, let's just do that one.
We'll do the Bitcoin.
The good old standard.
Standard Bitcoin.
Standard Bitcoin.
All right.
So we'll go with.
I'm flipping.
B is heads.
$6,000 for the winner. I can't believe I'm flipping $8,000 to determine the winner. You know, this is worth $7,200.
Yeah. You guys you have no idea what we do for our fans.
Yep. Of course I can't.
There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go. The B is heads.
Okay.
And everything, non-B is tails.
Okay. Let's see.
What do you want?
Questionable commands. Whine. I forfeit.
There we go. That works.
So, Regan, you're actually in the Discord, and actually both of them are in the Discord. Regan, you win. So I will get you.
Wait, Regan wins? No, I thought Regan forfeited.
No, questionable commands forfeit.
Oh, questionable commands forfeited.
Whine, I forfeit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the.
Yep.
Regan.
You win.
You win.
You win. So I will get in touch with you on the Discord because I know you're on there.
Yep.
So congratulations. You've won a Rogue prize pack for out-of-line IPA.
Yep.
And if you haven't had the beer already, go get the beer because it's actually really good.
West Coast beers are always good beer. I mean, it's kind of almost refreshing to have just a standard West Coast style beers versus the hazies and the sweeter IPAs that are coming out now. Those really nice, piney, grassy, citrusy notes with a bit of malt is always just, you forget how good those taste.
Yeah. And that the out of line IPA, and I'm not being paid to say this, by the way. They just said, "Hey, do you want to do a giveaway on the channel?" And I said yes. And so they sent me a couple glasses and three beers. The out of line IPA is what you should drink if you're interested in IPAs, because it's hop forward without being too hop forward. And then it transitions into a malty taste, but it's not too malty and too sweet and too like bready or anything like that. And then it transitions into kind of this bitter back end, that little bit of a grassy flavor. But it's not too bitter, and it doesn't cling to your mouth. And so it's very refreshing, but it gives you all the flavors that you should experience in an IPA.
And what I really like about like the West Coast style IPAs are the
penguins with the jetpacks.
The penguins with the jetpack it's kind of cool. I get the out of line aspect of it. Just I want to do this, not the fact that he is out of the line, but it pairs really well with like meat food. A lot of bar food, a lot of the food you're gonna have, a burger. Some chicken, a steak. It pairs very well with that kind of barbecue-esque, I'm gonna hang out with a bunch of friends kind of food. Yep. It really does. It accents things. It's really nice. Whereas hazies really don't. Okay, you want to have the other beer, and we'll get into some...
Absolutely.
Little bit of...
You want to use the same glass?
Let's use the same glass. Is fine. They're IPAs.
Yep. This is a porter, so it'll kill
anything. Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was an IPA.
No, this is a porter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Usually I wouldn't. Honestly, I think the flavors will be just fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
So this is the Crux Fermentation Project out of Bend, Oregon. This is the PCT Porter. It's a 5.8% porter and what they call an all-day porter. See? 12 ounces. It's a 12-ounce glass.
I guess.
Because in pint glasses, I can pour a 16 doing the same thing with a head on it.
Whatever.
You're just mad. Thumbnail should be the no signal screen. Thanks, Alan. ALAN.
That's got a nice aroma too.
It does. It's nothing over the top, but it's just solid. It's a little bit roasty, like a vanilla roast from Starbucks.
It is. It actually.
Yeah.
If Starbucks were to make a beer, that's what it would taste like.
Yep.
But it is actually very all day. It is very nice, an all day porter.
Yep. A day in, day out porter is what they call it.
This would actually go really good with the burger too.
Yep, totally would. In fact, I had one the other night with a burger.
Yep.
So congratulations, Regan. Thanks for playing.
Yep.
And this is a great porter, and buy out of line IPA, even though we're drinking a porter in it right now.
Well, but all day, how often do you play? Now, Jeff, you have a lot of video game consoles.
Yes.
You have the Nintendo Switch, a very nice portable. Have you Game Boys? You are a big Game Boy fan.
I'm a big handheld enthusiast.
You're a big handheld enthusiast.
Yeah.
So. Now, did you ever get into the PlayStation handhelds?
I did. I had a 1000 and a 2000 series PSP.
Okay. You ever get into the Vitas?
I never did.
I liked the Game Boy aspect. I got the color. I got the Advance. I got... I didn't get the 3D. What was the one after the Advance?
Well, there was...
Not the...
Don't make me go through the line, because I'll name them all.
I got one more. And then I got the Switch. And I love all of those.
Yeah.
But I never got into any of the PlayStation mobiles. And I really did want to, because I always loved the graphics.
Right.
I always thought they had really great
graphics. The graphics were always superior.
Were way superior. The price points, maybe not. But looks like I'll never get the chance.
Yep. PlayStation Vita. Officially dead.
Yep.
They have stopped manufacturing of the Vita, and from what it sounds like, there won't be another Sony handheld for quite some time.
No, and I really think that's a smart decision on Sony's aspect. I think they need to stick to the console. That's where their bread and butter is, and Nintendo has switched from console to kind of a handheld console.
It's kind of a
hybrid system, and it's working because it's not super high-end graphics, but it's great, good enough graphics.
Right.
And
you know what I use this for?
Racing?
Rocket League.
Rocket League? Oh, that's a great game.
Yep.
For that, I could see that totally working on that.
Rocket League and Zelda is what I play on this. Yeah. So there's my Switch.
You know, PlayStation Vitas and the PlayStation Portables, those are meant to basically be like, I want to play my PlayStation on as the go, but I have to buy a $250 system.
So I had a PSP. I remember I had a Gran Turismo game for it. I had, I think I had a, gosh, I'm trying to remember what I had for it. I know I had Madden, and that's an experience that I've never been able to replicate on a Nintendo handheld. Is a true football or true sports games.
Well, they don't really. Nintendo really went away from that after the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
they went very family friendly.
I don't know. I had NFL Quarterback Club '98 for N64.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had like Blitz and everything like that.
Yeah. The Quarterback Club was legit, although you had NFL Live on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
NFL Live 99 and 2000.
Well, that was my point. Is Xbox and PlayStation really went for the, sports enthusiasts.
Hardcore
sports enthusiasts. Where Nintendo started, let's do the family-friendly, cartoon-esque type sports. What I really always loved about the PlayStation Portables was the hackability.
Yes.
And the graphics, because of that, you had this high end. Now, with the Nintendo, I will admit to putting, the hackable advance, where I could do things. But they always had the internet browser, and I was like, this is so lackluster.
Yep.
The the video player, this is horrible. To where the PlayStation Portable and the Vita, you had great looking resolution. Yep. You had great picture. You could play any video that you could play on your computer on there.
Yep.
And that always appealed to me.
There were a couple of times when I was traveling where all I carried with me was my PSP and a cell phone.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't even use the cell phone on the plane. I'd use the PSP and I'd watch a movie, or I'd do this and that, listen to music or play a game or do whatever. And that was my entertainment for the flight. Screwed breaking out the laptop or reading a book or anything like that. Yeah. I had my PSP.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna.
And now I have my Switch.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not gonna miss it. I think they did with the Vita. Didn't they even integrate some kind of control to the PlayStation?
Yeah, you could remotely play your PS3 and PS4.
So they kind of tried to do the Switch aspect to it. Just never hit the mark.
Yep.
I think. Because you had to buy the PlayStation and then you had to buy the $300 Vita separately.
Right.
It didn't really work out.
And it wasn't the same power and it wasn't the same games and you had to be within Wi-Fi distance and you had this and you have to have that and so you had to be 100% bought into the Sony ecosystem for it all to work. Yeah. Whereas Nintendo, now it's just the one console. It's the Switch, and I keep it on the HDMI dock here on my desk because I'll play Zelda on my 43-inch screen over here. And that just works. Now, for Rocket League, I play on PC. But when I want to go, my daughter's in ballet, and she has hour-long rehearsals every Saturday and every Tuesday. And
yes, honey, yeah.
And so for 45 minutes of that, I'm playing Rocket League. I'm sorry. And then for the last 15 minutes, I'll tune in and when they're going through their final rehearsals, and I'll make sure I know her steps, and then we practice them during the week and that kind of thing. So I'm being a good dad, but for 45 minutes, I'm playing Rocket League.
Yeah. And it's nice. It's small enough to fit in my my backpack or something safe.
Yep.
And they're probably coming out with a beefier
one
really
Game
soon.
Gear.
I always wanted when they
first
came out. I always wanted one. I always wanted because I had the big chunky Game Boy.
Ooh, someone had a Nomad. Ooh.
I didn't have that.
Sega Nomad. You could play Genesis games mobile.
Now see, I when the Game Gear first came out, I was still rocking the original Game Boy, the big, thick green
And
screen.
so was I.
And remember they had the adapter.
The Newbie Light?
The Newbie Light with the big screen. So I went and bought that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can play in the dark with this. But then it was like 4 AAA batteries for that, 4 AAA batteries for your Game Boy.
4 doubles for the Game Boy. My light had 4 doubles as well.
Yeah,
so I had 8 double A's in my hand.
8 double A's. And as being that young and buying good Duracell double A's, that was expensive.
Yeah.
And you know, it would only give you a couple hours of good play. And I was like, that Game Gear comes in color, so I could play it at night.
But the Game Gear took 6 double A's.
Yeah.
And it only lasted for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true. That I didn't care.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't have to have this bulky thing on it.
But it was in color.
But it was in color.
You can get a TV adapter for it and watch TV at night.
They had Street Fighter, they had Mortal Kombat, they had Sonic the Hedgehog. No, they're not Street, but they had Mortal Kombat and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
I
had Sonic Labyrinth. I had Sonic 2. I had an MLB game on it. I remember. I remember I had a baseball game that I played all the time.
It was.
And a couple other games. I didn't have a lot of games for the Game Gear, but I did have some.
So I always did want a Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Never got one though.
Yep.
Every now and then I see one at Goodwill. I'm always like, man, should I buy one? Just for that. I want to hold it. Let me play one game.
I see them in pawn shops occasionally.
Oh yeah. You know,
I'm still kicking myself to this day. So the year was about 2005 or so, 2005, 2006. I was down in Eugene. I was walking around the U of O campus. And I walked into this game store that like opened up one week and was closed like 3 weeks later.
Oh yeah, one of those.
So yeah, it was one of those shops that just like rented out a store, and it was a guy who had like a ton of video games and just wanted to sell off his collection and whatnot. So I walk in there, and I'm looking through, and he's got some good prices on some good games, and he's got GameCube stuff, and he's got Xbox stuff, and he's got Super Nintendo stuff, and N64, and under the glass panel, he has a Virtual Boy. He has a Virtual Boy with all 14 games.
Oh, that's right there. That's the hard part to get is the games.
He wanted $150 for the package. No. I didn't.
Did it have a box?
Yeah, it had a box. It had everything. It had every original accessory for it and all 14 games. Except for the 2 that were released in Japan to make it 16. So it didn't come with the 2 Japanese titles.
So you had the full American package.
The full American package, he wanted $150 for the package. I didn't have the money. I didn't have it.
You need to... what's that going for now?
If you have all 14 games, like if you have Waterworld's like $300 by itself.
Yeah.
If you have what was the 3D flight sim, like the Descent knockoff. There was that one. There was Mario Tennis came with the system. Yeah. There was Wario World, and there was a couple other games like that. But yeah, there were only like 14 titles released. He had all of them. He had the entire package, $150. And to this day, I am kicking myself that I didn't have the money like on hand ready to go. I didn't have it.
Yeah, that sucks. I remember when that first came out, I was at the state fair and stood in line and then just played it for... Yep. It was Mario Tennis, stood in line again, and played Wario.
That was my Christmas story thing. That was my... walking up to Santa Claus and I want a Virtual Boy with the 3D screen and Mario Tennis and da-da-da-da. You'll go blind, kid. All you'll see is red.
Yeah. I remember I wanted the same thing, and then I ended up asking for, because it was so expensive. Do you remember those Neo Geo? Not it wasn't Neo Geo, but those little crappy handheld things. But yes, the one that came out. I had that one with Mortal Kombat. I had one with Mortal Kombat 3.
See, I played a couple. They were made by Tiger.
Yes, the Tiger.
And they had little cartridges, and so they played just like that. Now, for those who don't know, this was Game & Watch style technology. So it was single graphic LCD displays, and so if you're fighting, you fight either the ninja looking guy or the ninja looking guy with the bandana.
Yep.
To distinguish the two.
Is that a girl? I don't know.
Right. Right.
You had.
Banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But this was a holographic display that you flip down from one eye. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the movie Hackers. With what's his name? And that's a prop in the end of the movie. He's wearing that display.
Yes. It literally looks like DS9.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got the whole.
He's got the whole what? This hurts my eye. Cisco and the
He should have had Garrick wear it.
What's his face? Not the Defiant. What's that race called? The one that
Jem'Dar.
Yeah, the Jem'Dar.
No, that was the Vorta.
The Vorta wear. Yeah, but yes, essentially they wear those.
I like how you go, you're the one who likes that one. Yeah. Yeah, Tiger's Z-Zone. Yes! Thank you.
Yes, I had one of those. Oh, I cherish that thing.
I always wanted one. I want one now for a prop. In fact, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to outbid you right now.
That's not it. Where'd it go?
Oh, there's some game cartridges. Tiger Sega R-Zone gameplay cartridge, Daytona, USA.
Oh wait, there it is, right there.
Yeah, $180.
Gosh!
$180. So bring this up on the screen if you can.
All right, hang on. Tiger, what is it?
Z-Zone, Z-Zone.
Oh, Zone.
Che says he still has one.
No way.
Wow, nice.
Tiger, there it is. Oh no, here's one for $190.
$299.
$299. Let's see, load this. Oh.
Go back.
There we go.
Yeah.
$299.
So yeah, it was like this full plastic headset with an elastic band around the back with this holographic display that you wore over one eye.
Yeah.
And it was like Nintendo Game & Watch style graphics.
Yeah, I had that, and it came with it wasn't Star Wars, wasn't
Tiger R-Zone. Someone said Z-Zone. Someone said Z-Zone.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, R-Zone. Okay. Yeah, someone said Tiger R-Zone.
Yeah, someone wants $180 for one on brand new inbox on eBay.
$175 on eBay.
Yeah.
$299.
The cartridges are going for $35 a pop.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I had a Mortal Kombat.
See, I played
cartridge.
This. A friend of mine.
There we go. Used one.
$37.
$37.
I don't care if it's untested, no games. I'll bid $37 for that.
$37.
There's one for $40 right under it with free shipping.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, now we're getting into it.
So, but yeah, that's a good image right there.
Yeah, someone says, man, old obscure games are expensive. Yes, they are.
Well, the $299, that's original in package.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had that. That's what I got instead of a Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Yep. Yeah, but no, that was my 1995 Christmas story expedition. Was every single Santa Claus that I met
Like,
going, I want a Virtual Boy with the red screen and Wario World and da-da-da-da. You go blind, kid. All you'll see is red when you're done. But Mom, yeah.
And then 6 months later, it went belly up.
Yeah.
Although I remember seeing it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Why am I dizzy?"
Yeah.
Oh,
and by the way, I suffer from migraines, so that would not have been a good mix.
And then, there was migraines, backaches, because you had to do this the whole time.
Yeah, it sat on a tripod. It didn't have a head strap. This wasn't modern VR.
Yeah.
Although I did find there is a Virtual Boy emulator for VR. You can play all the games in a headset with an Xbox 360 controller. And I went back and I played Mario Tennis like a year and a half or 2 years ago. No, I played it on the DK1.
You know what would be fun is if they did that and incorporated somehow the Wii controllers, so you could still do
that'd be cool.
Like you get Virtual Mario but with Wii Tennis.
Yep. So there's two more stories. I want to touch on them both really quick, and then we'll get to questions. So Galvanon, I see your question. Apex Legends devs to announce a new Star Wars game on April 13th. Now, this is the same dev that launched... God, I had a list of games, and I've completely forgotten.
Was that...
Obviously, Apex Legends.
What was the evil one? God.
The evil one?
Not the evil one. Sorry, my bad. It's just... where you played the bad guy. The Darth Vader's pupil.
Oh, Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Was that them?
Was it them? I thought it was them.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I don't remember. I had a list of games. They've got a good pedigree. New Star Wars game being announced April 13th this year.
AAA.
Yeah, AAA Star Wars game. So something to look forward to in the very near future.
If you're a Star Wars fan.
Yep, exactly.
Well, just could be
even if you're not, it could just be a good game. Yeah. Remember when LucasArts made good games? Pepperidge Farms remembers.
That's a good one.
And we're going to get into sad news really quick. Alex Trebek, you all know him. He is the host of Jeopardy. We've all watched Jeopardy. It's been in all of our houses. It comes on 6 o'clock every single night.
If you don't know, please say that in the statement of a question. If you
Right.
don't know what that is.
Right. You know who Alex Trebek is. Alex Trebek announced today that he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Yep.
There is a 1% survival rate once it hits stage 4. And if you've never been affected by cancer or known someone who has been affected by cancer, pancreatic cancer is a devastating diagnosis.
Yep.
Now,
At age 78.
At age 78. It is something that not a lot of people live very long with.
No.
He announced this with all of the tact, respectfulness, and humor that he is known for, saying that he is going to fight this, he is going to keep working, and he appreciates any thoughts, prayers, etc. that you might give him. So,
yeah, no, like you were saying, the almost humor, the way
he has to live another 3 years because his contract is still in.
That was the thing. He stated in his announcement, there's that little bit of humor he threw in there of saying, I have to survive because my contract is for another 3 years.
It doesn't expire for another 3 years, so I'm contractually obligated to stay alive.
So, yeah.
So, the humor, it's a dry wit that he has, but it is perfect to him.
He really loves it. I mean, he really loves when... Will Ferrell did the Saturday Night Live, skits on him. When anyone makes fun of him, he's
Jared Ferguson. It's funny.
Yeah, exactly. He takes it with a great grain of salt. He loves it. He's like, go ahead, go after me. It's fine.
Yep.
He loves all the stupid rap video or the YouTube montages that they make. The GIFs, everything. It's just fantastic.
GIFs.
GIFs. No, yeah.
Yes!
You got me on that one.
Yes!
But this is sad news. This isn't tech news or anything, but in a sense, it is a bit of nerdy news because
it's a bit of nerdy news.
There's a bit of nerdy news.
Yeah. So if you're the praying kind, definitely send your prayers up to him and his family. This is going to be a difficult road.
Yep.
He is approaching this with the best intents, best spirits, best mentality he possibly can. But this is a devastating diagnosis and not one a lot of people live through. So thoughts and prayers over to Alex Trebek.
And now we're going to
try to transition. I wanted to make that announcement. I know it's morbid. It's not a great way to end the show, but mad props to the dude, even for the way he announced this.
Yep.
But
that's class. It's class.
Exactly. And it is so exactly him.
Yeah. And now for the awkwardness of...
And what do you guys want to talk about?
Who's the first person to ask anything after this? Well, actually, you said you already had
there was a question up here.
And luckily, it was before we said this, so you were fine.
I have a hardware question. I just upgraded to a 2060 OC Ultra, and now I'm hearing coil whine. I've been told it's my PSU coil whine in combination with a GPU upgrade. No, coil whine comes from the graphics card itself. It comes from the power delivery within the graphics card. So it's the capacitors and the chokes within the graphics card creating that coil whine. Coil whine varies from card to card, even within the same version of the same exact card. It's the quality of capacitors, it's the power, it's the quality of your power delivery, and it's the quality of the power being translated down to the die level. Nothing you can do about it.
So you don't
unfortunately
you don't think a better quality wire or anything?
Nope.
No better power transfer.
If you can determine it's in your power supply, you can replace the power supply. Yeah. Most of the time, coil whine comes from your card itself, though. It comes from your card itself, or sometimes it comes from your motherboard. Although that's less likely in the past. Although with more and more wattage going into motherboards lately, it can happen with motherboards as well. But most of the time, it's in your graphics card, and there's nothing you can do about coil whine other than close your side panel and turn up your fans a little bit. So. Unfortunately, if you have coil whine on a graphics card, just something you have to live with.
They need to make a white noise machine that goes into your computer that drowns that out.
Right.
To make you have a nice ocean sound.
Right. Another suggestion, RMA the card. You can certainly RMA the card for excessive coil whine. And with EVGA, you'll probably be successful with that. There's some other companies that might gripe with that, but EVGA I've had really good success with RMA claims with. So if it does concern you, if it is distracting, if it is something you don't want to live with, certainly RMA the card, or at least reach out to EVGA and try to find a solution. So. Let's see. What else?
What else we got? Anyone have any questions while we're looking? Go ahead and hit us up really quickly.
I don't think we finished talking about Spectre Meltdown thing. We touched on it very lightly. There's a link down in the video description if you want to do a deep dive. It is a deep dive, and honestly, we were kind of running out of time, and I didn't want to dive fully into it in this conversation.
It was a lot of technical talk in the article, and
the big thing is this can be executed remotely from a website. If you visit the website from a user logged into that machine, even on a different virtual machine than what you're trying to attack, you can access the hardware level and pull out passwords and secure data and encrypted data and whatnot from a different virtual machine session. So it can be executed remotely or with a compromised user account. Jeff, any budget DSLR suggestions for family events and stuff? Ooh, that's a good question. For DSLRs, I'm actually a really big fan of the Sony mirrorless stuff.
Canon 60D is nice.
The Canon 60D is nice, although it's getting a little bit old.
It is, but that means it's cheaper.
It is cheaper.
He said budget.
Right. Brand new, you can get, what is the Canon SL2? Something like that. I'm trying to think of the entry-level DSLRs.
Well, what was that mirrorless camera we had on the show that was a DSLR mirrorless camera or digital? It was a while ago. But there was a particular one. I'll put it in the comments later.
Canon M50 is a great mirrorless option. I'm a really big fan of the Sony lineup of cameras, especially their autofocus within the mirrorless section, and you get something that's really thin and light. The A5100 is a little bit older at this point, but it's still a phenomenal camera, and I think you can pick it up in a kit for about $400.
But okay, so the Canon, though, or the Sony's, Canons, Fuji's, what has the best budget plus lens adaptability that's out there for budget lenses? Like if you want to go and upgrade a lens,
if you're
Sony is, you can't get a Canon and get a Sony, so
talks budget DSLRs, fondles the 4K camera. Someone noticed.
Yes, and that's gonna be the thumbnail.
That's gonna be the thumbnail now.
So let budget cameras plus lens.
This right now is being shot on a Sony A5100. Not the kit lens, but you can get similar quality out of the kit lens. The kit lens, the 16-50, is still a lens that I use every single day, and it's a very, very easy lens to use. Do I have it here? I don't. Yeah, yes I do. So this is the Sony a6000. I wouldn't buy the a6000. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but the a5100 is still nice. And this is the kit lens you get with it. So you get a package that's that thick. This is with a cinema cage on it. It's very handy. It's very easy to walk around with. 16-50 gets you a pretty decent walk around range. Sony also makes a 55-200 lens that's image stabilized. That's a great kit lens. For less than $600, you can probably pick up that whole package with the a5100, and that is a great out-of-the-box shooter.
No, that's not going to give you a very far zoom depth.
Oh no, to 200, absolutely it will.
Oh, that kit?
The 16-50 is what you get for the $400 for the A5100.
Okay.
You can get the 55-200 or 55-210, I think it is, for another $200.
Okay.
And so those two lenses, you can get a very, very good walk-around kit with the Sony A5100. $600 out the door. It's a 24-megapixel shooter. Great image stabilization, great autofocus system, great in low light, and great automatic pictures. So literally set it to automatic and click. So if that's what you're looking for as far as a great DSLR mirrorless option, APS-C sensor size, it's going to be great picture quality. I do really like Nikon. I don't like Pentax all that much because all Pentax does anymore is use other people's stuff. They have their own lens mount still, but they buy sensors from Panasonic. They use micro four thirds for sensor size instead of APS-C and other things. They take okay pictures, but they're not a great company to invest in right now. Canon, Sony, Panasonic, and Canon, Sony, Panasonic.
Fuji.
Well, Fuji for video. Fuji doesn't have a great entry-level photo system. It's a great camera, but it's an old school camera system. It's got manual controls up on top for my shutter and ISO and aperture and everything.
That gives it that old school feel.
It gives it an old school feel, but this was also a $1,300 camera body. Should just do an in-depth video on it. Yeah, I've thought about doing some camera videos, but there's a lot of good camera videos out there by people who can cover it a lot better than I can.
Yeah.
I've been a photographer and videographer for going on 10 or 15 years now. I worked for a camera company as far back as 2004. So I do know what I'm talking about. I do have a long history of working with cameras and being a shooter.
There was something I sent you earlier.
That was
kind of cool. Yeah, so
Nikon's a great camera. What is that? The 3600 is a great kit. You can get that at Costco for I think $400.
Yeah, so
that's another great option.
You can get a great Canon to Sony option between the $399 to $599 range.
Exactly.
Essentially, right then and there. Most of those, just do your research. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a quick, I need to pull this out, portability, or I need to sit in the stand and I want to zoom in. I want to be that amateur photographer with a stand. You need to really figure out what you want to be, what you're wanting to do with it.
If you go to Costco or get onto Amazon and you look at Canon, Panasonic, Nikon, or Sony, and you look between $400 and $600 for their brand new entry-level camera, you're not going to be disappointed.
No, and usually they come with a kit with like one or two
lenses, and typically they're good enough for most people.
Yep.
Like I said, I would avoid most of the other camera companies. I would avoid Pentax. I would avoid...
the other big thing too, get a nice SD card.
Yeah.
Get a really nice SD. Spend the extra money to get the high-end SD card.
Yep.
If you're going to do something and a large capacity one.
Yep. If Ryzen 3 series Zen 2 pricing and model details are real-ish, what is the new 2600 replacement as the best all-around buy from the lineup? Probably the 3600. It was supposed to be 349 and an 8-core chip, if I remember correctly. 3600X, 349, 8-core chip. Boom. So that's it. And 349 will be your basically anything between the $200 or the 271 and the 349 is probably going to be where you're living at. For the video, DJI Osmo Pocket is surprisingly an okay option for a vlogging option and for a stability option. Absolutely great for $349. Olympus EM10 that I really like. Olympus is.
I've heard negative and positive.
I like Olympus and I don't like Olympus. I like Olympus because, they finally migrated over to Micro Four Thirds a number of years ago. They use the same Micro Four Thirds system now instead of just using the straight up 4/3 system that they used back in the E300 and E500 days. But at the same time, I don't think their cameras are advanced as Panasonic's is. And you're paying the same money for the same lens system with a worse sensor and worse interface. So I'd go Panasonic. I'd go Panasonic G7. You can probably get a pretty good price on. Those bodies have been as low, or kits have been as low as $499, I think, for Panasonic G7.
Yeah, but again, if you're spending that much money, there are other options. I would rather have a Sony or a Canon.
Yep.
Out of the two, if for that price point, those are the two I'm honestly gonna actually look at.
Right. If I decided to lap or delid my 7820X, I think I'm going to delid first. I'm going to see where that gets me, followed by lapping, followed by potentially replacing the IHS with a copper IHS and lapping again. So I want the system to work, and I want it to work on air as advertised with a decent overclock. So 4.3 to 4.5, I'd be perfectly happy with. I'm not chasing the top end overclock, but I want it to run at less than 75 for crying out loud. So, yeah, there will be a follow-up video on that shortly. I've got a couple of the projects that are going to take precedence over that first.
Surprisingly, the whiskey cooling it somehow works.
Yeah. Yeah. I just spent the last 2 hours watching this at 1.5x speed to catch up. Wow, my brain hurts. Just down a beer. It'll slow it back down.
Yeah.
I guess the IPC gains on the Ryzen 3000 series compared to the Intel gaming, they're going to match or best there is no way the Ryzen 3000 series comes in worse than any Intel product. Period. End of discussion, bar none. The numbers that I'm seeing leaked out early, it's going to match at the very least.
Yeah, and if the pricing right now is any indication, you are spending at least 1/3 less.
What about a camera with 16 plus lenses? If you're looking at investing in a bunch of lenses, invest in EF lenses. So invest in Canon mount glass. This lens right here is a Canon mount lens. Most of my lenses are Canon mount glass. The nice thing about Canon is the flange distance is so far from the sensor, they can be adapted to any other system. So I was able to switch from Sony over to Fuji by buying a new $200 adapter. And that's it. And I'm off and rocking, and I didn't have to switch out my entire library of lenses.
Wait, did he say 16 lenses?
Yeah.
Who spends money to buy 16 I get that, but at once. At once. Who goes at once and says, I'm going to go get 16 lenses?
Quite honestly, I had added to cart at one point the entire Rokinon set of primes.
When was that?
Recently.
That's exactly right. But as an amateur, like the first time, oh, I'm going to go buy 16 lenses. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to buy 1 to 2.
Yep. This is a 24mm T1.5, and I freaking love this lens. This is my do anything lens.
I only have 3 lenses. And
I know.
That's the one I'm about to buy.
This isn't even a zoom. This is a 24mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Fondle.
He's still fondling it.
Just going to sit here and like pet my evil cat.
Yes. And yet it still doesn't charge.
Shut up, John. Yeah. So I'll have a better power brick coming. Honestly, it ran the entire show.
It ran most of the show.
It ran most of the show, powered off the charger that came with my Essential Phone 1.
Yes, which there's no way that's enough power to...
I know. It had worked up to this point and it ran for a couple hours earlier, but honestly, this camera had been on since 6 o'clock?
It probably would have been
I turned it on at 6 to start going through some different settings, and I just left it on.
It probably would have been fine if you...
So 4.5 hours was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
That Sony is making me jealous. With this Sony? Or that Sony? This Sony?
Jeff owns a lot.
I do. I have a sickness. Yeah. Jeff. I've never... I mean, I did my camera kit overview, and that was I thought a great video.
Not this one.
Yeah, not many people watched that one. I thought about doing an unboxing video of this. I figured I'd just rather get the hang of it first, and then maybe I'll do a revisit on this in a couple of months. But yeah, I was pretty invested into the Sony system, again, with a lot of EF lenses, although I do have a couple Sony native mount lenses. I've got the Sony 18-105 G Master lens, which is a freaking amazing lens. I have a Mikey 25mm f1.7, which is for a $70 prime lens is absolutely amazing for sharpness. That's a lens I filmed quite a few videos here on. This one right here is my pride and joy. I love this lens. This is the Laowa 15mm f4 macro. It is a 1:1 macro that you can touch the front filter on and still be in focus.
It's a sweet lens. He was showing it me like 2 weeks ago. It's literally, I could do this to it and it was still in focus.
And the edge of the glass is in focus and the back half of the glass is not.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love, love, love this lens. This lens was $500.
It was sweet.
Yep. Let's see. I hope you weren't charging with a 5.5 volt power brick. I kind of was. It's USB-C. Honestly, the power in for this camera is over USB-C. The problem is not the voltage, it's the amperage. The amperage on the power brick that I had plugged in over USB-C was not enough. And what's funny is I have a 3 amp power adapter over on this side of the room, and actually the USB-C cable is long enough to reach. I just got lazy and plugged it into the power strip over here with a little wall wart about this big. So if I was charging with a 3 amp plug, it probably would have lasted all day. I feel so confused when hearing camera talk. Yeah.
You know, other people feel confused when we talk beer or tech.
Yep.
It's a multilingual channel here.
Yep. Or when I say I want to put a 408 rear end in my 350Z.
Exactly. Or yeah, when we're talking Volvos, or when we talk Trek. Sorry.
Trek.
You know, we hit a lot of diverse subjects.
So I will say I'm not doing the full deep dive through TNG right now, but I did start at season 6 and I'm halfway through season 7 right now.
I just finished my TNG through Enterprise.
Did you?
I went through TNG, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's my year and a half thing that I do like once every 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, I take a year and a half off.
Yep.
Do it again a year. Actually, the only Trek I can't watch the original series.
Yeah.
I can watch
a couple of the movies.
Movies, other than one, I can watch. Yeah, the
Undiscovered Country.
That was a horrible one. The movies I can watch. Every now and then I try to watch one.
Yeah.
The motion picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's about 20 episodes.
Even Wrath of Khan wasn't great storytelling. It's a great plot, but it's terrible storytelling.
But you know what the best part of Wrath of Khan is? Is the Z-axis that they talk about.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about that. Yeah. It's like,
wait, we can go up?
We can go up or down?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. But there's only about 20-esque episodes of original series, and I don't watch the cartoon series.
Yeah.
That I can like kind of do. So I never get into original series.
Yeah.
It's always season 2.5 of TNG and on.
There you go.
That's usually what I end up doing.
So I just rewatched one of my favorite all-time TNG episodes, Parallels.
Parallels is a good one.
Good episode. Worf fluxing through different space-time continuums and trying to pinpoint the differences between the two of them, and the mystery going back quite a ways into the episode. And little hints throughout it that just the character play in that episode was just fantastic. Yeah. Seeing Worf be this strong man and trying to be broken because he doesn't know what's going on. Is it in his head? Is it real? Yeah. No one believes him. Fantastic episode.
No, you said you've never watched Enterprise, have you?
Never watched Enterprise.
Never.
I've seen a couple episodes here and there.
If I will say 1 and 2 horrible seasons. Mm-hmm. Just out of the 2 seasons, 5 episodes are like, oh, that's worth watching.
Yeah.
And but 3 and 4, there's actually some really good ones. And there's actually some really good like throwbacks of in season 4. They start referencing stuff with Kirk, of like stuff that happened with this really weird alien race where the original Defiant gets thrown back in time, and they're like, "Hey, we found that Defiant, but it's the alternate universe." It's the first, and it's how the alternate universe becomes bad.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we found this alternate technology from the future. Now we're gonna go conquer everyone, and kill everyone."
Was what's the evil Kira's name?
She's not in there, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no leather pants.
Oh, come on.
No, all the females have cutoffs. So
yeah.
I was like, hey, all right.
That's how you know they're evil.
Yes, exactly. They're sexy. The sexier they are, the eviler they are.
Yeah.
No, but season 3 and season 4. Season 3 was actually really good of Enterprise because it was one story.
Yeah.
So they took that aspect of DS9 and like, hey, let's take the whole saga.
Yep.
And it was let's do this story. And
so you're saying that was a positive to the series?
There was a positive to the series. Now toward the end and season 4 was cut off shorter than the other 3 seasons. But the captain or the guy who played Quantum Leap, I forget his name. The actor who played in Quantum Leap, and he's the cap. He overacts as much as Kirk.
Well, it was the 70s,
and it was just.
Oh, sorry.
It's so bad. That part is bad. He just overacts everything. But I actually highly recommend if you are TNG, go check out season 3 and season 4 of Enterprise. That's a good trek.
Yep.
Discovery so far. 3 good episodes out of the 2 seasons.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. Orville is way better of a Trek series than... heck, there's even more Trek background characters that they add into that are fantastic. Well, what was it? Also, Enterprise is where Seth MacFarlane cut his teeth on Trek.
Yes.
He's like featured in 4 or 5 episodes.
Yep. All right. I think that's a good enough place to end it. Episode 72, if I remember correctly, of Talking Heads.
72
yes.
72.
72. I'm calling it 72.
All right.
There we go.
He's Jeff, and I'm...
Thank you, Ryan Reynolds, for joining us on the show today. Excellent vodka. Or gin, as it were. Yeah. Yep. Good gin. Good beer today.
Good beer, good gin. Good company. Good talk. Good
okay company.
I mean, I could go without
Take it or leave it. Whatever.
You know, decent camera.
Yeah. When it works. When it works, this thing's a beast.
When it's charged.
It'll be charged next week. We'll figure all that out. Like I said, still working all the gremlins out of this thing. I hope you all enjoyed the first 4K 60, actually true 4K 60 video that I posted this morning. No, that I posted this morning.
Oh,
we were only streaming in 1440.
Okay.
And now we're up converting again from 1080p. So, sorry.
Quick, give us a hiccup before you leave.
Yeah, it's starting.
I know.
So I need to stop. I need to get out of here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. It's always a good time. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing. Follow John on Twitter at Hops and Brews. Follow John's YouTube channel at Hops and Brews. And subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already.
Yes.
I'm getting good at that.
You are getting good at that. And check out Jeff's Discord for a minimum of $1 and chat with all of us. We're pretty much on there 24/7. Tech, video games, cars, trading.
Because I'm up till about 1 in the morning, and I think Steve wakes up at 3.
Yeah. So. And then I'm up at 6, and then we have meme wars, GIF wars, everything. It's all there. It's fantastic. So check it out.
Great community, great place to hang out, and like I said, $1 on the Patreon. So consider donating. I would very much appreciate it. Helps me keep the lights on around here and keep content coming to you guys. That's going to do it for episode 72. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we will see you next week. Cheers, all.